Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey and I are going to break down the entire UFC 289 fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and we have been killing it. First of all, I need to wish a very, very happy birthday to the one, to the only. I'm kicking you out.
Quint. Our mod in the Discord, in the chat, it is his birthday. We do have a very happy birthday to Quint, and hope he has a good one.
Well, my birthday was 2 days ago, so fuck me, right? We're killing it, though. We're killing it. My birthday weekend, we crushed. I'm up units. Your picks were solid. Your lock of the week did take a hit, a little bit of a stumble.
Chris Tione. That was a Chris Tione.
6.
And I just realized, too, and we'll talk about it in my lock of the week video, Chris Tione is like a point-taking machine. I mean, I literally put clips in of him taking points in like every single fight that he refs. The guy's got a weird obsession with point-taking, but we move on.
Well, you did have 6 in a row. You'll bounce back this week. Maybe Prize Picks hit, Underdog Fantasy hit. My safety parlay can't miss. I don't want to jinx it. And this is a very volatile.
Was up huge.
This is a very volatile sport, but the safety parlay is up 9.83 units on the year. Just on this year alone. We're only halfway through the year. 9.83 units. And if you don't think that's impressive, I don't know what's wrong with you, because it's hitting at a 73, 74% win rate. And we have had some of the sketchiest cards of all time the last month or so. And we've been getting by. We've been making it happen. If you want to unlock all the safety parlays, including this week's, which is 3 legs, WeOnPicks.com, become a premium member. It's only $10 a month, and it includes far more than that. And we have well over 2,000 premium members. And you know what, Jacob? They're all very sharp. Our premium members are by far...
And lock of the week's up 22 units.
Forever, not on the year, forever. Congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment. It's all underdogs. I'm not taking anything away from you. You're the fucking...
Imagine if you flip people off like this. Is that like a passive-aggressive middle finger?
Well,
no, but look, it's like...
Yours is... You have stubby hands.
No, I mean, look at these feet. I mean, do we really want to go through this again? Do we really want to go through this again?
Our community is very sharp, Jakey boy. We've been tallying the winnings. Premium. This is premium members only, and it's over the last 3 events. We have calculated over $180,000 in winnings, and this is through fantasy, through betting. They're tweeting us. They're sharing it in the Discord. Our premium members are absolutely sharp as hell. You've heard about some of these massive $12,000, $78,000, $50,000 takedowns. We have all sorts of parlays that people are hitting. This guy turned $10 into $6,000, shouted us out. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what our premium members are able to do. The Fitted Joint said, signed up 3 weeks ago. I'm up 8 units since becoming a premium member. 3 weeks is not a month.
Yeah, and do you know
3
why?
3 weeks is not a month.
3 weeks is not a month. That's very good, Angelo. That's very impressive. Even with your old age,
you're
still pretty sharp.
Baby.
But I mean, it's because most of these people aren't just. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't just. If you tail us, we do pretty well. But they use the tools. Premium membership is not just about just tailing blindly picks. You can if you want, but it's about using all the tools for the premium memberships. We have all the tools involved, all the analysis, all the breakdowns, and if you use them all. Oh, here's one right here. Actually, tell me about this one, Angelo.
Well, this is the line movement tracker, Jacob. And what this does is this gives you the opening odds for every single fight, the current odds for every single fight, what those odds mean as far as win probability, and then that line movement. And let me just give you an example here. Amanda Nunes, greatest of all time. We'll talk about her in a minute.
Yeah.
Opened at a minus 600 favorite. She is now only minus 325. Actually, this is an older screenshot, but we've had some incredible movement. We had only one fighter this week started as an underdog, flipped to a favorite. But the reality is, it's $10 a month. It's an absolute joke. You're going to see people out here talking about, $15 gets you this, 30 gets you this, give me 5.
35.
And then
some people are running deals.
Yeah, Jacob shared a deal today of a company for $68. You get 3 events or something, or 2 events, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, I think it was 2 months for $70. Yeah, $35 a month. You don't get this. Hey, you don't get this there. You know what I mean?
You give that away for free. Anyway, guys, WeOwnPicks.com. Just click become a member. At this point, the community sells it for us. Well over 2,000 of you have Well over 3,000 of you have registered. Well over 2,000 of you are active, live, making it all happen. We appreciate every last single one of you. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. And if you want money, I'll send you money. We pay out thousands of dollars a week. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. You're going to see 4 sportsbook partners there. Every single one offers their own bonuses. There's pros and cons to all of them, right? Not one book is perfect, but we have our preferred. There's some others with some fantastic customer service, some really nice parlay options and things like that. Find your book, hop in using our link, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. We're going to carve off a piece of that money, and we're going to give it right back to you because nobody cares about this community more than we do. And
More than me.
Well, I'm the one, both of us. Everything I say sounds sarcastic, but it's not. We genuinely care about the community, which is why we give back. I don't need to give you this.
I'll be honest.
I do.
I don't give a shit about any of them.
I'm 100% positive that's true. Let's jump into this card. Let's jump in. There was an over-under on how many times I'll pump premium. And
was that one, or is that considered? I mean, that's solid. That was a solid 6 minutes.
That's one. That's one plug. And someone's like, oh, you're starting with the premium. You got to start at the beginning of the video. Is the most important part of every video.
Yeah, people have already skipped it. Right now, somebody just skipped to this point. Like, are they done yet? Somebody that's rewatching it.
Well,
shit. Speaking of premium.
Real quick before we jump into this card.
No, I kind of want to just go. I'm ready now. I'm ready now. We have Diana Belbita taking on Maria Oliveira in the first matchup. Okay, do you want to hear your thing? Sorry.
I was just going to say, there's only 11 fights on this card.
So we take our time.
This is supposed to be... No, I would like
this can be like a typical Jacob Friday night, just kind of taking our time with it. We go here, we go. Now we're in this room.
I'd be gone.
Now we're in the kitchen. Now all of a sudden we're on the balcony. Now we're like, we're outside. We're in the car. It's like...
If this was a Jacob Friday night, there'd be a jar of peanut butter. I'd be long gone, and that dog would be hiding in the closet. So let's relax. It's only 11 fights on this card. There's only 11 fights on this card. It's supposed to be a pay-per-view. First time in Canada in a long time. And they're like, here you go.
And I told you, and I had no idea. I literally had no idea until I was watching the Embeddeds, and people were flying to Vancouver. I was like, why the fuck are they flying to Vancouver? Like, are they going to Vancouver over to Toronto? I just assumed that it was in Toronto. And I'm like, oh, well, now it makes a little bit more sense that they're just Vancouver. I mean, who the hell?
I just feel like the UFC, and we'll jump into this. I just feel like the UFC takes advantage of regional fans. Here in the US, if you get a pay-per-view in Vegas, you know for a fact that's going to be a good pay-per-view.
Like when I went to UFC 285, I went there. I saw Tabitha Ricci. She was looking fantastic, had the big finish. I don't know if you realized, but I actually met Amanda Hebas and had a nice conversation with her. Took a picture with her, UFC 285, and we didn't discuss either. Tabitha Ricci put me in her Instagram story. So. And
then took you out of it. So shut the hell up.
What was that?
And
I was there for a good. I mean, it was probably like a good 4 hours. I was sitting in there until she woke up and was like, "What did I do?"
All right. Well, anyway, they take advantage of the regional fans. You get a pay-per-view that's not in the U.S., or especially a country they don't go to very often. They're like, they'll buy tickets no matter what we put out there. So lots of good matchups, lots of good spots. Let's go ahead. We will break this down. Opening up UFC 289, we have Diana. I know it's Diana. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying Diana.
It's Belbita
Diana,
too.
Well, I know because I removed that stupid thing off the T.
Belbita.
Diana Belbita taking on Maria Oliveira. Diana Belbita, 14-7 overall. She is only 2-3 in her last 5. She's coming back after a myriad of injuries and a year away. She's taking on Maria Oliveira, 13-6 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that decision loss to Vanessa Demopoulos. It's actually a tricky fight because Diana Belbita, let's assume she's injury-free. She's good to go. She should be coming back. The timeline's appropriate.
She looks good.
She always looks good. She's always...
Whoa! Mr. Married Man. Let's pump the brakes on that one. Holy shit.
She's a high-pressure volume striker. She likes to come forward. She can work in BJJ when she needs to as well. She got some solid ground and pound. She's pretty well-rounded. She's constantly moving forward, and she doesn't really slow down. She's got a lot of experience, 14-7. That's a lot of fights. So does Maria Oliveira. At times, we will see Diana sort of chase something, give up a position, really, make a low IQ mistake there, looking for a finish. But for the most part, technical striker, high volume, going to keep coming forward, keep trying to make something happen. Taking on Maria Oliveira, right? Diana hadn't fought in a year. Maria has fought 3 times in that time span. And she's tall, she's long, she comes forward, she's got powerful kicks, long punches, and instead of using kicks to keep range, she's using those kicks to just absolutely rip you apart, blast you down. Decent takedown. It's only 47% her takedown defense, but it actually is decent. People are just constantly trying to take her down because of her striking, because of her power. What I liked about her last fight, she lost to Vanessa Demopoulos, but she knew she was down on the scorecard. She was very aware, and she went out there and just came forward, poured it on, and just tried to make something happen. And I appreciate, I mean, how many times have you nailed Loopy for this, right? Like, I appreciate when a fighter is...
I am constantly nailing Loopy. That is correct.
I appreciate...
I didn't know that we were going to put that out publicly, but... Yeah,
well, you know, you could have your moment.
Sorry, Loopy. You know,
I appreciate when a fighter is aware enough to know what's going on and to make those changes. I'm losing. I need to go out and make something happen. And she did. It didn't work out, but you like to see it, and it works out. I think Maria is going to win this fight. I'm picking her to win. The line is sort of all over the place. She opened at -129. She's still minus money. This is probably going to flip. Diana, it's probably going to flip. And frankly, Diana is going to be the more technical striker, but Maria is going to be more powerful. She's going to be big. She has no problem coming forward. I don't think it's going to take her very long to find her rhythm because she has been active. So I do think Maria is going to get it done, but Diana could just energize her bunny her way to a decision here. What do you think, Jakey?
I will say, first of all, when it comes to the power of Maria, you know, I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit and was looking. I mean, 7 KO, TKOs out of her 13 wins seems like a lot for a female fighter. And then you start looking at the level of competition. The combined record of the people she knocked out were 4 and 22, and the 4 wins came from one girl. So that means 6 of the people that she knocked out had 0 wins in that leading up to that fight, and obviously after that fight as well. So I think her power is a little bit overrated. Diana also has finishes as well, but she doesn't fight like she needs power, right? She's just in the pocket, boom, 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 mix up, nice kicks, nice body shots, nice headshots, very technical. She definitely is the better striker of the two. The issue is Maria, as you mentioned, is a little bit of a wild card. She does get wild. She does move forward. She does do the crazy stuff. And in women's MMA, this fight will most likely come down to the judges. So automatically, you have no idea, because these are Vancouver, Canadian judges. We have no idea how the judges are going to react. The first fight of the night, when it comes to judges, sometimes the judges like crazy. They like the person that is moving forward, even if the person moving backwards is landing stuff. And we just saw it Kai Kara-France, right? I mean, he was moving backwards. He was landing the more strikes, but he was moving backwards. I feel like Diana is probably going to be the one moving backwards, but I think she's going to have good success in this fight because she is such a tight, technical striker, and she will stay in the pocket, and she is very tough. You're not going to break a girl like Diana Belbita in this fight. Maria can try. She's going to push forward, but I believe Diana is going to be the technical striker. She's going to land the shots when Maria's trying to do the crazy stuff. Diana's going to break her down, and she even could, in my mind, find a late finish when Maria is kind of gassed and really kind of chasing a little bit too hard because she knows that she is behind. So it's probably going to the judges. It's going to be a tough decision. I am going with my girl Diana Belbita in this fight. I think she's the better striker in what should be a mostly striking matchup. And the odds, it's a pick 'em right now. -10, 110 both ways. So give me Diana all day, every day, 24/7, 365, Friday night, Saturday night. It doesn't matter. I'll take her.
I like the over, obviously. I think you could actually parlay the 2 of the 3 women fight overs and have a pretty safe bet there. So I do think it's going to go to decision. I don't think there's going to be any stoppage on either side here. And you said it's even money right now. I did these graphics at like 9 in the morning today, or updated I do the graphics a week ahead of time, but I it's not the first thing I did when I woke up. I've had like 11 filthy jokes, and I just left them all there. But anyway,
I would like it. I would like them. If there's a week to let them loose, I think this is it.
It is not. I did the line movement portion of this at about 9 this morning, so it's already moved a little bit since then in one day. Isn't that just incredible stuff? $8,000 to $8,200. Is one of them worth your DraftKings lineup. And keep in mind, we only have 22 fighters to pick from. We need to grab 6 of them. Like, this is a weird DraftKings week.
I mean,
we can't just fade every fight.
Yeah, I know. It could be because, I think this is going to be a high volume, a lot of strikes, and those could add up. And the person that comes out on top obviously gets that 30 additional points and stuff too. So, this might be one of those weird situations where the optimal lineup does sneakily have one of these females in there, because this is going to be a great fight. This is going to be a really, really fun fight. If you watch that Diana and Gloria DePaula fight, by the way, Gloria was my lock of the week against Diana. I'm sorry about that, Diana, but I was right in that instance. And that was a wild fight. They were in the pocket, in a phone booth trading. I think this could be the same way. It's going to be a fun fight to start the card.
Yeah, I think they'll get after it. I think they'll be busy. Obviously, I do think this will be a decision, as I mentioned, and potentially it could score well. Before I make a DraftKings decision, I'm going to have to go into their DraftKings histories and just see what kind of numbers they're putting up, because I don't imagine much wrestling, and if there is some, it's going to be on the Diana side. So we'll have to see what that looks like and what she can score. She's got takedowns in most of her fights. So
she's not going to wrestle.
She has takedowns in most of her fights, and she's fighting somebody with some power. She's going to wrestle.
Yeah, power.
Coming off a year away and some injuries.
By the way,
you want to bet? You want to bet she shoots takedowns?
I'll bet this fight straight up, $100. If you have any money left after last week.
The argument. Do you have any money
left after last week? I went 2-0, so you might want to watch your mouth.
Wow, that's huge. Do you have money left after your bets last week?
My live stream bets are up $760 some dollars. So
I wasn't talking about.
Well, I was up money, so I don't give a fuck what you think. You know what I mean? So I will say this, but Diana, after that Gloria DePaula fight, she thought that she won that fight. It was a very close fight. Her face after that fight, when they read the decision, was like, "Fuck this!" Like, she was pissed off. I think she's coming in with a vengeance, and I love those girls. I love those girls' attitude, Angelo.
Okay. All right, well, if you want to see all of our bets for this fight, every other fight, see that line movement tracker, which is updated constantly, and all the tools, information. We have a 38-column spreadsheet with detailed data metrics to help you find your spots. Plus, we give you our spots and a DraftKings optimizer. This week, that DraftKings optimizer, those DraftKings statistics, the DraftKings analysis and breakdowns is more important than ever. When you have 38 fighters to pick from, you can find some spots, right? There's a lot of fighters that'll score well. You go into some 50-50s and double-ups, you'll make it happen. A week like this, you really have to separate yourself, take some chances. We on Picks.com, only $10 a month. Next up, what are you laughing at?
Why'd you choose that picture?
I just loved it.
Flyweights are friends.
I loved it. I'm looking because there wasn't like a nice, clean, full-size picture of him like that I would normally use.
If anyone puts any money on this guy, look at this guy. No offense, Steve. I'm sure you're a great guy, but that picture does not do you justice.
One of our. If you're not following us on Instagram or everywhere else, you should. Somebody on the Instagram comments goes, "I think that guy just installed my cable." I thought that was pretty funny.
He's like, looks like you got a virus here. Let me see if I can fix the software.
Well, anyway, David Dvorak is taking on short notice pizza delivery boy Steve Erceg. David Dvorak, 20-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. And he is riding a 2-fight skid. He's taking on Steve Erceg, 9-1 overall.
Someone says that Bert MMA.
I saw that. 9-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, and he is making his short notice UFC debut. David Dvorak's a striker. He's a solid striker. He comes forward. He's got good pressure. He's pretty active. He has really nice low kicks, and he pairs those with solid boxing. He is fundamentally sound, and he's pretty good overall. He is coming off a decision loss to Beneil Kopp, where he was able to get a handful of takedowns, and those are the first we have seen from him in the UFC. So he's sort of evolving, working in new things, and trying to get these wins. But as we mentioned, Steve Erceg is stepping up on short notice, but he is a bit of a prospect. He was signed by the UFC before this, like a year or so ago. Supposed to be on a contender series. That fell apart. So they didn't just... It's not like the dude Jim Miller just put out that didn't even have like UFC on the radar, right? He was supposed to be here already. Didn't work out. And then they sucked him up. Then they sucked him up out of the pits of despair to throw him on this pay-per-view card. He is a slick grappler. He attacks very quickly. He snatches things up in scrambles. His striking is not so great. A lot of people like his striking. He considers himself a striker, but he's got like limited head movement. His stance is wide. Why are you making that face? Okay. Anyway.
You talk about his striking. Go ahead.
It's not good. I'm saying it's not good.
No, that's what I'm saying. Obrigado.
I'm just not impressed with his striking, but he does land. He is accurate. He's durable, but his grappling is really where he shines. His real chance to win this fight is somehow create a scramble, because in scrambles, he's very slick. He will just grab something and make it happen. But if you're going to go strike for strike, technical striking situation, that is just not his time to shine. His takedowns aren't great. So David Dvorak just needs to defend some takedowns, and he should be able to piece this kid up on his feet. Lots going on for this kid. He's from Australia. So.
Oh, an Aussie, mate.
Australia, Canada's farther from Australia than we are. Unless that's halfway around the other side, because the earth is round. I don't know if
I've been to the ice edge.
Fly down to go up. Anyway.
I've seen the walls, the ice walls.
What is interesting, there. I think we are all on the David Dvorak side, right? As we should be. But these odds are interesting. They just flew. Minus 400 and minus 275 immediately. So I don't know if people were just like, man, this guy's on a 2-fight skid. He's not that good. But it's all about the matchup. And this should be a pretty favorable matchup for him. I think he gets it done. Jakey boy, what do you think?
It was probably a little PTSD from the Jamie Malarkey stuff last week. Honestly, the short notice guy coming in, people are like, let me take another flyer in this, which actually a funny fight during the live stream. Obviously, I picked Jamie Malarkey, so I don't want to act like I picked Jamie Malarkey, but during that live stream, I literally said, like, holy shit, Jamie Malarkey's about to get knocked out. The way that he was fighting, the way that guy was very live in that fight. I was like, holy shit, he's about to get knocked out. Absolutely get knocked out. And what could happen in this fight, as you mentioned, in all respect to Steve, if this goes to the ground, very, very live. I mean, your breakdown was absolutely perfect. If this goes to the ground, if David is shooting takedowns for whatever reason, because he did have 2 against Beneil Cop, if he is shooting takedowns, if he goes to the ground, things could get weird in this situation. But David should have all the success in the world in the striking. The issue is his striking has been a little bit tentative, but I think that was more about the opponents he was facing, right?
Yeah,
Nicolau is a very, very good counter striker. Beneil Cop is a very, very powerful counter striker. So there's a lot of waiting for David, where this, I don't think he's going to have to wait. I agree that Steve actually is a pretty good striker. I mean, he does know how to throw hands, but his head does not move off that center line. And does not move off that center line at all. And I saw the same thing. You mentioned this isn't like the guy that Jim Miller fought, but defensively, I see the exact same thing, standing in front and just not moving your head. And David Dvorak is a very, very fast, slick striker. I think he can come in, throw a nice 3-punch combination and put this guy out pretty easily. But if he comes in, starts messing around, shoots some takedowns, this fight could get weird very, very fast. But I'm pretty high on David. I actually think that he's a pretty good prospect for the UFC. He's got all the tools. I mean, he's got all the tools. You just kind of wish he did more, and I think this could be a breakout fight for him.
We're aligned here. I don't have a money line on David, but I do have some stuff going on. So premium members, you've seen what's going on with my bets with David. $9,400 in DraftKings. Sketchy card. Not that many fighters. You got to have them. You got to have them in your lineup. Yep, we agree. I'd say we on Picks.com to unlock everything and then I list everything, but Sam Pierce has listed it for us. He did a $5 super chat and he said,
I love Sam Pierce, man.
He comes in,
he shows up every stream and supports. There's a lot of you that really support every stream. We appreciate you, and Sam Pierce is one of those people.
We by far have the best community in this space. Obviously,
it's not even close.
I mean, you'll get the people who you don't hear from, and then one bad thing happens. They show up in the comment section. You get those people. What's his name? There's that dude that uploads Guru stuff all day. That guy fucking sucks.
I don't watch anybody.
I'm not
else.
saying Guru. No, there's like some dude here. He's probably watching right now. He's such a fucking turd.
Show your face, stupid ass.
He knows who he is. Every comment he posts is like negative nonsense. It's so annoying, and it's not toxic. Meaning, it's not like hate.
Just know it all.
It's not hate filled. It's just like negative, like little whiny bitch bullshit. So you're a whiny bitch, but who isn't? Sam Pierce isn't. Sam Pierce with the $4.99 super chat. He goes, I won on DK and my pick won on the live stream. Bless you guys. Honestly, best content, best tools for DFS. Thank you very much, Sam Pierce. Genuinely appreciate it. Genuinely.
Yeah, he's talking about for the live streams now, we started doing community picks, chat bets, and there wasn't a lot because everyone thinks they're a genius, right? Everyone in the chat right now, and most of you guys are geniuses, especially the people in my live stream, but we were putting some people on blast, letting them make it a pick, putting it on the board, and there was a lot of losers that night. But yeah, Sam Pierce was definitely not one of them.
Yeah, no, it was a good night for you. I watched most of your stream as well. And that dude is gray shirt. That kid fucking sucks, man. I just couldn't imagine. Like, I get the trolling, I get the sarcasm, but he's none of those things. He's not a troll. He's not being sarcastic. He's just a negative Nancy. He
Most
has
people
11
are just
cats.
Miserable.
Oh, 100%. He has so many cats. So many cats.
What's wrong with cats? Because you know who else has a bunch of cats?
Who?
Irene Aldana. And you know it's actually kind of funny. We'll talk about it when it comes to the main event. It was in the embedded. This is why I know, because it was in the embedded. Because you know how a lot of people are like, they just have a kid. They just have a kid, and they're like, oh, I'm fighting for my kid. I'm fighting whatever. Her quote in the embedded today was, I have my cats. I'm a big cat person, and I know that that if I don't win, then that means I can't eat. And if I don't win, that means I can't eat. And that means my cats can't eat. So it's like she's like motivated to win, fighting for her cats. It's like, oh, shit. Amanda's fighting for her daughter. She's got another kid on the way. She's got a family. And Irene Aldana's like, I'm fighting for my fucking pussies.
And,
we do love Aldana, that's for sure. Me and Angelo both, for sure.
JG saying, how does Angelo remember the live stream? This is coming from
you were kind
Jacob.
of a mess.
No, see, Jacob loves to pretend that I'm like some.
You were saying some wild stuff.
Alcoholic.
You were literally saying some racially motivated stuff.
Never. Don't put that out there, like even sarcastically, because people are gonna believe that shit. That's not true. Didn't happen.
It is not true, but it's funny to say.
Well, but this is the problem. You like, oh, always drunk again, and people don't know. So now they think, like, I had like a typo because I'm on my laptop watching fights, and he was like, oh, he can barely. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
What an absolute joke. Let's go ahead and break down this fight. Next up at UFC 289, we have Blake Bilder taking on Kyle Nelson, one of the bigger underdogs on the card. Not Kyle Nelson, Blake is, but Kyle Nelson is 13-5 overall. He's 1-3-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that controversial draw to Doo Ho Choi.
Oh, and who was the ref in that fight?
Was it your boy?
Chris Taglioni. And what did he do? He took a random-ass point away from a random-ass headbutt. And even Dana White, after the fight, was like, this is bullshit. And he still gave Doo Ho Choi his win money because Chris Taglioni was a fucking idiot taking a point for no reason.
You over it? You good?
I feel a lot better now.
He's taking on Blake Bilder, 8-0. He's undefeated in his career. He's coming off that decision win at UFC 284. Blake is an aggressive grappler. He's going to shoot as soon as he gets an opportunity to do so. He's going to control from there. He explodes on the ground, but he doesn't take unnecessary risks, right? If he sees an opening, he'll take it, but he's not going to chase something that isn't there and then give up position and be in some like sloppy mess of a scramble. He can strike as well, right? He's got a nice loose style, but he can be a little hittable. He's coming off that win over Shane Young where his striking actually was pretty slow, but he was really technically sound. He's taking on Kyle the Monster Nelson. A lot of you have written him off. A lot of people talk about, oh, Blake Bilder's a guarantee. I hate when people say, I think I just hate like the obvious cliche shit. But people are like, free money for Blake Bilder, free money.
He's a lot. That's what I mean. You know how many people said that about Kai Kara France?
He's a lot.
That's all I saw. Free money, easy money.
Razor thin fight. Yeah. Even if you think he won, that fight was razor thin.
And if he won, everyone would have been like, told you it was free money. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, barely by the skin of his teeth. Anyway, people talking about Blake Bilder's free money and Kyle Nelson as if he's just, right, non-existent. But his recent record doesn't really reflect his full skill set. He's actually a solid striker. He's got some pretty good power in his hands. He's been around since 2018. He does only have one win in the UFC, though. He's got solid takedown defense, does a really good job using his opponent's shots to create scrambles. So if Blake takes sort of a sloppy shot, Kyle's going to create a scramble and could potentially end up on top and then start pounding away. And as Jacob said, a point was taken away in his last fight against Doo Ho Choi, which ended up in a draw. he was going to lose that fight, right? Kyle was supposed to lose that fight. According to the odds, he was losing that fight. In reality, the headbutt is what tied it up, but he did have 5 takedowns in that fight and more than 1 full round of control time. Should be a straightforward spot, though, right? We're going to see a more technical striker out of Blake. We're going to see the much better grappler out of Blake. He's not going to have the power advantage. Kyle's going to have that, but unless Blake is stuck in a slugfest, he should be able to get this done. So I do think Blake's going to win. Is he free money? Anytime you're fighting somebody with this kind of power and those scramble skills, it's nothing's free. But I do think Blake Bilder's going to get it done. What do you think?
Doesn't Blake look kind of like he talks like this? Like, hey, like he's just like a
everything's
super,
profound.
Like
he just wants to be profound.
He's the guy. He's the guy like that just sits at the end of the bar with like a cardigan on. Like even though it's like middle of summer with like these weird sunglasses, mysterious look with like a Virginia Slim randomly or something like that. It just seems like a guy at the bar. You'd be like, I want to kind of talk to that guy because he seems like an awesome guy. But in that fight against Shane Young. And I'm glad that he kind of admitted it after the fight, too. After the fight, he said, I give my performance an 8 out of 10. I got to throw more volume. Because the way that he started that fight was like, what is he doing? He was just dancing. He was not doing anything to start that fight. I'm gonna chalk that up to UFC debut across the world against a hometown guy in Shane Young, the first fight of the night. I mean, there was a lot of factors because once he started rolling, he really looked like the Blake Bilder that we expected to see. I mean, he's got very, very slick boxing. He's known for his wrestling and his grappling, but he's a very, very good boxer as well. Once he started getting in the flow, you saw the abilities and the highlights that could come from his striking. And Kyle Nelson, to me, feels like a guy that doesn't really know what he is. He's very well-rounded, right? He's a decent striker. He can wrestle. He can scramble, as Angelo mentioned. But it feels like when he's in fights, he just doesn't really know what he wants to do. Does he want to strike with people? Does he want to lay power? He's having success, but then he's shooting takedowns, but then he's not really committing himself to the wrestling. And in this fight against a guy that's also very well-rounded, I think that's a recipe for disaster. He needs to pick something in this fight. He needs to either go all in the striking, try to land the power, or go all in on the wrestling and try to control Blake and get him on his back and just kind of hold him there. But if he's trying to mix it in, Blake is going to mix it in much better than he can in this fight. And I think that's the difference. I think Blake is just a little bit better everywhere. He's going to be a little bit cleaner boxer. He's going to be a little bit slicker on the ground. And that's just a recipe for disaster for a guy like Kyle Nelson. So I have all the respect and reward for Kyle. I think he's a very well-rounded guy. But, and honestly, the last time I said this was the Lacerda-Blakeshire fight. I said Lacerda is just a little bit well-rounded everywhere, and then Lacerda came in and looked I don't know what the hell that didn't even seem like Lacerda in that fight. He looked like shit, was gassing, was doing weird stuff, but I got all faith in the world in Blake Bilder. He seems like a cool dude, and he seems pretty grounded as well. Another big, against a hometown kid again, pay-per-view. I hope he shows out and shows up and shows out. I think that's what I'm looking for. But he's my pick.
Maybe. I was on the right side of the Blakeshire fight, but
I won. I think we both won money on the Blakeshire fight. So
you did the under, and I did the money line.
I had 3.5 on Blakeshire, plus 3.5.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was gonna say you won inside the distance. Anyway, we're both on the same side, but so is Demetrius Tomasic. $1.99 from Demetrius. Blake getting the dub, boys. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I do think he gets it done, and I think you got to spend the $9,000 in DraftKings. Kind of have to.
It'd be interesting.
Look at the numbers he put up in his last fight. The takedown. He's a takedown machine.
He can be. He likes boxing too.
He should be wise enough to not do that here, but I guess we'll see what happens.
I think he can do whatever he wants in this fight.
So are you going to spend the $9,000?
I think I am.
I
bet he has a duct tape wallet. You ever make one of those?
I would, of course.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nerd. I didn't even make one of those. I used to make fun of the kids. If we were in the same high school, I would have bullied the fucking shit out of you. Okay. Holy shit. I'd have been smacking you with my golf club as we were walking down the hallways. You would have done shit about it.
How was golf camp when you went?
Oh, it was amazing. I had so much fun. I was like the leader of the whole thing. Everyone was looking up to me. I won multiple tournaments. It was
top bunk or bottom bunk?
Top bunk, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, top bunk's where it's at.
Good.
Had my own room.
For you.
Yeah, had my own room.
I thought I heard otherwise. but I guess not.
Sometimes
maybe
people,
you are.
Some people.
Maybe you are the alpha. My bad. My bad. Anyway, you want to unlock all the bets, the picks, and everything else. Jacob's life story. Actually, I don't want to say that because some idiot's going to sign up thinking that that's actually out there.
Well, Alan just donated a premium.
I'm getting there. I'm plugging premium for $10 a month.
What is this, number 3?
Whatever the over is, I'm hitting it. WeWantPicks.com. Become a member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to meet people like Alan. Alan supports us. Alan just sent 1 month of premium membership. He says you guys are the best MMA duo in the biz. He's a premium member and catch most breakdown shows. It's the best $10 that Alan will ever spend for the content, regardless of their Aldana pick. Not there. Jacobs, thank you very much for the super chat. Next up, at UFC Vegas 289, we have the younger Zahabi brother taking on Aoriqileng. Aiemann Zahabi, 9-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off that impressive win over Ricky Turcios.
Impressive, huh?
He's taking on Aoriqileng. Yeah, I thought that was impressive. All right.
All he did was just did a little bit more. Ricky did nothing.
And
I think Ricky landed 3 strikes in the first round. Zahabi did nothing.
First of all, he was supposed to get smoked. And Ricky is typically a wild come-forward machine, and he wasn't able to be one based off of Aimann's constant movement and circling. It stopped Ricky from getting settled in and shooting shots. Anyway, he's taking on Aoriqileng, 24-9, worlds of experience. He is 3-2 in his last 5, though, and he's coming off that close win over Jay Perrin. Aiemann Zahabi, I mentioned the younger Zahabi brother. His brother is Faraz, George St. Pierre's coach. Runs that TriStar gym in California, Canada. Lots of famous fighters have worked through there. His brother is a phenomenal coach, or at least at one point was running one of the better gyms. And the reason that's important is because Aiemann has been around high-level coaching, high-level talent, high-level people for a very long time. And when you're surrounded with that level of talent, some of it's contagious, not all of it. Herbert Burns didn't get all the good stuff, but others have. But overall, Aiemann Zahabi, I'm actually not his style's a little bothersome for me.
But why is that?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I just watch it and it's just frustrating.
He just doesn't do anything.
He is a pretty well-rounded guy, though. He's more of a striker than anything. He can be low volume, but he does have some big power. We watched him put out Draco Rodriguez with an overhand right in a fight where he was low volume, barely threw any punches, then bang, put that dude out. But the reality is he's got solid takedown defense. He does have technical striking. He can give up some takedowns at not opportune times, but his takedown defense is good enough to keep it standing for the most part, and he usually is the more technical striker in a lot of these matchups. He's not going to outwork anybody, but he can slow you down. He can get you out of your rhythm, and he can sort of touch you, make things get a little weird, like he did with Ricky Turcios. Taking on Aoriqileng. Aoriqileng, well-rounded guy. He's got incredible pressure. He's the opposite of Aiemann Zahabi. He's going to come forward, set a pace. He can fight technical, but he does get sucked in the brawls as well. He uses his striking to set up takedowns, where he tries to sort of force his way to the ground and then make stuff happen. He is coming off that win over Jay Perrin, where he was taken down 3 times and landed fewer total strikes. I actually am on the Aiemann Zahabi side here. The line has tightened. I am on that side. Something about his style is very frustrating to watch. It probably is the low volume. But the reality is he does a good job slowing the pace. It's not just that he's low volume and he does nothing while people turn him into a punching bag. He slows everything down. And then he's able to land a couple more shots, circle the right way, defend a few takedowns, and make stuff happen. So I do think Aiemann could potentially play that game. But if Aoriqileng just comes rushing in, working him against the cage, working him down, then he's going to blow him out. This is either a very close Aiemann Zahabi win or Aoriqileng ragdolls this dude. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think Aoriqileng is going to find a lot of opportunities to land a lot of strikes in this fight. He's finally fighting somebody that shouldn't be shooting takedowns on him, shouldn't be taking him down. So he should be free and clear to do kind of what he does. And I believe he is the better striker in this matchup. I don't think he's the more technical striker, but as far as a free-flowing MMA gonna win a fight type striker. I believe that he's gonna get this guy's face. He's gonna hit him, and he's got power in his own right. Because I don't know what everyone sees in Zahabi that everyone just loves Zahabi. I understand he's kind of got power and stuff, but I'm with you, Angelo. When I'm watching this guy, I'm like, what, how can you put money on a guy that just kind of walks around? Like a video game, like it's like his controller dies just constantly. He just gets, or his controller's just stuck. He's just kind of moving around, just not really doing anything. I think Aiemann gonna come through, come across, land some big shots, get him in trouble early, and kind of put this guy away. So, and I'm willing to look stupid on that call. You know, I mean, that's my prediction for this fight. I'm Aiemann all the way. I just cannot pick a guy that fights the way that's. I mean, it drives me insane. If I had money on him during the live stream, I would be going absolutely. It'd be worse than watching a Loopy fight. I mean, Loopy fight. I'm just like, what are you doing? I mean, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I gotta go Aiemann all the way, just because I can't support fighters that just don't do anything, and that's kind of how Zahabi fights sometimes. So,
listen, I hear you. I'm obviously on the Zahabi side because of his just extraordinary ability to just slow the pace down. He did it to Ricky Tercios. If he does it to Corey Lang, he's gonna win a decision, just like he did against Ricky Tercios. But
I felt like that was more of Ricky. He was just constantly feinting. It was his feinting. He was even doing vocal feints, like and he was trying to draw out the attacks of Zahabi. And Zahabi, to his credit, is a very patient guy, so he wasn't reacting to that. So Ricky never got a chance to counter. I don't think Aiemann is going to wait for a counter, and he's not going to try and draw counter strikes out of Zahabi. He's going to get in his face and just punch him in the nose. So.
Well, the reality is Aiemann opened at a -175 favorite. That's a pretty heavy favorite. So the bookmakers felt as strongly as you do right now. And I'm not gonna. This isn't like an argument fight. I'm not gonna disagree with you because absolutely.
Let's put money on it. Let's bet.
Yeah,
let's wrestle. Let's wrestle.
Aiemann could just come, or Corey Lang could just come running across and just not give a shit about the slow pace and just embrace it and let him have it. Because Zahabi is hittable. He's just dancing around and taking his time and doing that whole thing. And I do think, while I think Zahabi wins the fight, I'm not going to put money on him. And I actually think Corey Lang's worth the money at $8,300, especially if you think he makes it happen. Because, I mean, how many points is Zahabi going to put up? 8, 30, and then 8? What do you think? You spending the $8,300?
He's an option. Is that a carrot on his chest?
I have
say something dirty. Go ahead. Come on.
It wasn't gonna be dirty. It was gonna be. Well, he's from China, not Japan, so I was gonna say it was a Hiroshima bomb, but good thing I didn't say it. We have a $5 super chat from Quint. Quint says, "WWP membership pays for itself. Come join the Discord and let's all be rich and listen to the boys bitch at each." Was there more? I'm assuming that's each other. Quint, thank you very much. Thank you
Happy
for
birthday,
everything you do in the Discord. The Discord is free. I plug a lot of stuff. The Discord is free. If you're a premium member, you can link the Discord, and what that does is that gets you alerts on your phone instantly anytime we place bets, picks, and everything else. Next up, at UFC 289, we have Miranda Maverick taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius. Miranda Maverick, 11-4 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and she is coming off that dominant win. Or sorry, Jesus Christ. Next up, at UFC 289, it's because I said that joke, and now there's a million comments, and I'm trying to read everything at the same time.
Guys, don't worry. I will steer this channel when Angelo is ultimately gone after this week. I will be your fearless leader, and we will push through this. Next
up, at UFC 289, we have Miranda Maverick taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius. Miranda Maverick, 11-4 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She is coming off that dominant win over Shanna Young, and she's taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, and she herself is coming off a dominant win over Gabriela Fernandez. What's funny is instantly people hated my read. You people instantly hated my read on this fight. Like the comments, like meh, meh, meh. And then now we're 2 days removed from that, and everybody's on the same side, which is just so bizarre.
I think it's because my quick pivot. Whoop.
You did it. And basically my take on this is Jasmine Jasudavicius is a very high-level wrestler, Canadian national champion. I get it. It's Canadian wrestling, but a Canadian national champion is a better wrestler than an American nothing, right? Never wrestled at any meaningful level. She started MMA and became a wrestler. Miranda Maverick is tough. She's going to come forward. She's going to look to get it to the ground. She's very strong. She's, going to drag you to the ground, work you. She's not going to get tired. She's not going to slow down, but she can have issues if she's the one backing up. If you come at Miranda and you implement your own wrestling game plan, she can have problems. We watched it with Erin Blanchfield, came forward, just sort of ragdolled Miranda. And Jasmine, if she comes forward, if she doesn't wait, if she's the one who comes forward, if she fights Miranda the same way she fought Gabriella, Jasmine's going to take Miranda down, have her backing up, and win this fight. She's in her home country. Jasmine Jasudavicius in her last fight and 2 fights ago looked like 2 different people. 2 completely different people. It looked like she found her rhythm. It looked like she just found herself and knew what she was doing and knows who she is as a fighter now. She's going to be in Canada on a card. I mean, she's just tough, gritty, will say whatever the hell she wants to say, whenever the hell she wants to say it. And that's the exact type of person
like
that's going to come.
You like that kind of people, huh?
She's just going to come forward, outwork Miranda, and I think she gets this done. Miranda Maverick is very good, but I will say her striking looked pretty bad in her last fight. And that striking, what's that striking going to do, right? She's not going to knock out Jasmine with that striking. And if she's just going to lean into the striking angle, then Jasmine's going to take her down over and over like it's no big deal. So I do think Jasmine wins this fight. She can be taken down, though. Although she's a high-level wrestler, her defense could use a little bit of work. But I have a 1/4 of a unit on her. I got it at plus 250. You get a little bit better now at plus 260, and that line sort of doesn't know what to do with itself there. It's hovering, it goes down, comes back up. But Jasmine, a very big underdog in a fight that should be a lot closer than that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I got her at plus 265, and we're both on the same side in this one. And typically when we're linked up, especially when it comes to female underdogs, we do pretty well with that because, I think the value is definitely there. These girls are very evenly matched. Neither one of them is a very good striker. Both of them can wrestle. Both of them can get out wrestled. The difference in this fight to me is it's going to come down to who's got the dog in them. And I saw Jasmine against Natalia Silva, and now we know. First of all, I knew about Natalia Silva going into that fight. She was my pick in that fight. I knew that she was going to piece up Jasmine. But Jasmine showed her toughness in that fight. Natalia Silva is a very, very good, dangerous striker. And Jasmine was nonstop. She was getting lit up, but she was constantly moving forward. Even in the 3rd round, she was looking to try and engage. She was trying to get the takedown. She was still working and trying to get those takedowns in the 3rd round. Where when I'm watching Miranda and she's getting taken down, she's flat on her back. Yeah, she's trying to work through those positions. But at some point when it comes to the effort and the dog, I just see that a little bit more in Jasmine. When things aren't going her way, she is still pushing forward. She is still working to try and win those fights. So I think this is a very even fight. I think it's a pretty 50-50 fight. It's going to come down to who gives that extra effort in the scramble, who's got the stronger whizzer, right? When they're both trying to whizzer kick each other, just scramble each other. I think that Jasmine is going to be the one that wins those scrambles, ends up on top. And, I think that it's incredible value at plus 265. Even if she doesn't pull it off, I think the value is there. I think it's a very, very close fight, and I just think that she's got a little bit more of a dog in her than Miranda. Miranda was very, in my mind, unimpressive as a minus 500 favorite or whatever she was against Shanna Young in that fight. I mean, she looked a little sloppy on the feet, even struggled to hold Shanna Young down at times, and I think Jasmine comes in and looks very, very good in this fight and pulls it off. So we're linked together like Stuck on You.
Nope.
That's one of Matt Damon's best movies, by the way.
I was gonna say that was a good movie when it came out. Listen, we're on the same side. I'm less. You sound a little more confident than I am because Miranda is good. I think Miranda's a very good fighter. I just think matchup wise, it's a real tricky matchup.
She lost to the 2 most overrated girls in the entire division. Erin Blanchfield and Macy Barber are absolutely awful. And she lost to both of them. And we're going to see finally Macy Barber getting exposed. UFC Jacksonville, Amanda Hebos going to come in and steamroll this prospect, claim her spot at the top. Eventually, it's going to be Hibas versus Ricci for the title, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one, but we're excited about it. They're fighting on the same card again. I just realized that like a couple weeks ago. Ricci and Ribas, UFC Congrats. Jacksonville. I gotta start walking.
Okay, congrats. $9,300 DraftKings. No, I'm not going to spend that. $6,900 for me. I will spend that on Jasmine because a couple of takedowns, a little bit of control time. She will put up some incredible numbers. We got two people looking to grapple. I'm going to pick the better grappler. What do you think? You going to spend that $6,900?
It's a good number.
Okay, creepy boy. WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. You can get all the picks, all the bets, DraftKings Optimizer, full DraftKings breakdown, 38 columns of detailed data, metrics, and analytics. You can come to our site and do your research there. You're going to get all my raw notes. You're going to get all the data you've ever wanted. You're going to get the line movement tracker. Everything you've ever needed is right there to tail picks, to make your own picks, do your own research, and all of that. WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member at the top. You timing people out? Isn't there just like stupid shit going on right now in the chat?
Yeah, that guy was in my live stream too, just spamming just wild shit. I don't care if you like. I just don't care if you make fun of me, but if you're just gonna spam stuff in the chat, it gets kind of annoying. So yeah, I timed him out. His name's Jacob too, which is a shame because most Jacobs are pretty normal, good looking,
tall,
sex machines, big cocks.
Okay. Next up at UFC 289, we have the featured prelim of the evening. We have Nassourdine Imavov taking on Chris Curtis. Nassourdine Imavov, 12-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off the embarrassing loss to Sean Strickland. He's taking on Chris Curtis, 30-10, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off a close loss to Kelvin Gastelum not that long ago. Was it a month and a half? 2 months? That was not that long ago. This is a pretty quick turnaround, and I don't think Chris is like really stepping up on short notice here. Like this was just booked. So it's not as if, Chris stepped in this week to make something happen. You look like you have a smirk, like you have something to say. What's your problem?
What? I'm just sitting here.
Jesus. It's an interesting fight for sure because Nassourdine Imavov, he's a busy striker. He continues to move forward. He can strike and counter-strike all while moving, which is very nice. He has takedowns. He has control when he uses those takedowns. And he does have 3 in 4 fights. So he's not getting a million takedowns. He's not even getting them in every single fight, but he does have them. And when he sort of is behind on the striking, he looks to work those in and then get that control time, take a round back, stuff like that. He's got a real nice jab. He's got solid elbows. He looks pretty comfortable mixing it up. But he's coming off that embarrassing loss to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland stepped up on short notice, talking about how he was 280 pounds, whatever the hell. And he just outworked him. He just absolutely outworked Imavov. And the takeaway from that was this guy's overrated. Like, those were my notes. Everybody knows I take notes every fight that I'm able to watch. I write exactly what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling when I'm watching it. And I just wrote
alcohol-infused notes.
I wrote overrated.
You wrote overrated.
3 ice cubes. 3 ice cubes.
As you were throwing up in the toilet, watching it on your phone.
You know what? This is the best thing.
You're like, know what? Actually, let's address this.
This podcast is the best thing for my alcoholism because I don't drink on recording nights.
Would you
submit
to a breathalyzer right now?
Yeah, 100%. At least
test?
one night a week. Yeah.
For drugs?
I drank. Actually, I didn't even drink last night. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Look how alert you are! Wow.
Yeah.
Skin's getting clear up.
Oh jeez.
How's that back acne?
Well, that's the steroids. That's
steroids, huh? Jesus Christ.
Anyway, he's taking on Chris.
Almost got real mean there.
He's taking on
your Conor McGregor face.
He's taking on Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis. We talked about Nassourdine Imavov being able to move forward while striking and counter-striking. Chris Curtis only knows how to counter-strike. He doesn't really set that pressure pace. He doesn't get in your face, make stuff happen, but he is a phenomenal counter-striker. Very good counter-striker. He rolls with everything, sends stuff firing back, and that's how he has so many knockouts in the UFC. People are getting comfortable. They're touching him up early. They feel like they're accomplishing something, and then whoop, boom, right there. Chris Curtis with a very short left hook. ready to go, firing back immediately. But what makes this a tricky fight? So striking-wise, it's going to be interesting because Nassourdine likes to come forward. Nassoudine's going to pump a jab, probably be the busier striker. Chris Curtis is going to be the much better counter striker, have way more power, but not as much volume. And Chris Curtis has insane takedown defense. So Imavov is not going to take him down. So now we're in a striking matchup. Very good counter striker versus more of a pressure guy, more of a volume guy. I got to go with Imavov here. But I have never picked a Chris Curtis fight correctly. I pick him to win, he loses. I pick him to lose, he wins. I have not picked a Chris Curtis fight correctly. I'm fading myself at this point on these breakdowns with Chris Curtis, but I think the overrated Imavov can be a little busier, can avoid the big power, and the dude is so much longer, so much taller that Chris may have a little trouble with the counter striking. And at times, he's just too counter striking. It's just too much. Like, he's got to come forward a little bit more. And he is coming off that loss to Kelvin. That was a razor thin fight, but ultimately it was probably that headbutt that cost him that because he lost that round. It looked like he was dropped when he wasn't, and the rest is his angry Twitter history. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, let me preface my breakdown with saying that I probably am a little bit biased because I think I've picked Chris Curtis in every single fight. I mean, we're on the kind of opposite sides of how we feel about Chris Curtis, but I think I literally have picked him in every single. I was the one that said he was going to knock out Phil Hall. I said he was going to knock out Brendan Allen. I'm a big Chris Curtis fan in this fight. And let me just say this too. Nassourdine Imavov. I believe in my mind this is an easier fight than the Sean Strickland fight. But it's a much more dangerous fight for him because of the power and the counter-striking that Chris Curtis possesses. Because Chris Curtis fights exactly like Sean Strickland. He's going to move forward. The difference is Sean Strickland is constantly throwing strikes while he's moving forward. He's boom, 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 boom. Whereas you mentioned, Chris Curtis will just stalk, wait for those counter shots. And when he lands those counter shots, they absolutely hurt. I mean, he landed probably 4 or 5 knockout blows on Kelvin Gastelum. But because it's Kelvin Gastelum, who's just got a granite chin, and you can't really hurt that guy, he was able to work through those positions. But Chris Curtis looked good in that fight. I mean, he was landing some really, really slick shots. And what I love, and I think the difference in this fight is going to be the body work of Chris Curtis. A lot of his knockouts come from working the body. And one of his best shots, in my mind, as a southpaw against a conventional fighter, is that big left body shot, that big liver shot. He just digs the body. Kelvin Gastelum's a southpaw, so he was working the body with that right hand, but his power hand, the way he's able to dig those body shots on a conventional fighter, and you saw when Sean Strickland is moving forward and he's lighting them up, Sean Strickland doesn't really light people up, I should say, but when he's landing shots, Nassourdine Imavov does have a very high guard, and those body shots are open, and Chris Curtis is so good at landing the body shots. The issue is for Chris Curtis is, and what Sean Strickland didn't have to mess with in that fight was, that was an apex. That was a smaller cage. It's much easier to track somebody down in that apex cage. Nassourdine Imavov is going to have a lot more room. He's going to have a lot more action in this fight because Chris Curtis doesn't throw a lot of volume in stocks, but it is going to be a bigger cage. So, long story short, this fight's going to look, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it's going to look one of two ways. I think Chris Curtis is going to come in, land power, knock this guy out, look absolutely fantastic, or it's going to look like a Chris Curtis loss. It's going to look like the Jack Hermanson loss, where Nassourdine Imavov is going to be dancing around. He's going to be touch out, and Chris Curtis is going to get frustrated. He's not going to be able to get to him, and he's going to lose a kind of a boring decision. But I got all the faith in the world. I think the fact that his teammate, Sean Strickland, came in, walked him down, had success. They know what's going on. Their coach is now looking to be 3-0 versus the striking coach or the head coach of the French team, the Imavov team. I think they're going to have a great game plan. Chris Curtis seems like he's locked in more than ever. He's in great shape. He's already talking about maybe even moving to 170, and he's looking thin. I think he's cut some weight. He's going to come in, pressure with volume this time, and he's going to land some big shots, and I think he can knock this guy out because I don't think he's worried about power on the side of Imavov. He rolls with stuff way too well. Even when you're hitting him clean, you can't really hit him clean. So I'm all Chris Curtis in this fight. I'm willing to die on this hill because I think it's a good matchup for him, and those body shots I think are going to be there for him.
Well, and I've got a little bet on Chris Curtis. I know you have some bets on this as well. If you want to see Jacobs become a premium member, the bet I have on this fight,
we have the same one.
Well, I was trying not to tell them that yours was the same because, like,
Well, I have other ones too, and I got better value than you. I can't believe it opened up what it was.
Well, so we got Chris Curtis wins inside the distance, decision, no action. Meaning, and every time we mention this bet, somebody's like, mine doesn't have it. Wait, where is it on DraftKings? On DraftKings, it's called finish only. Basically, what the bet means is if Chris Curtis knocks out or somehow submits Nassourdine Imavov, we get paid. I got it at plus 100. You got it at plus 150.
I can't believe it was plus
It's
150.
wild.
I literally thought that they had the odds flipped. I thought it was wrong when I saw that. Somebody put in the Discord. By the way, Discord's 100% free. Join the Discord, link below. Somebody put that in Discord. I was like, there's no way that's right. And I was like, holy shit. Because he's a durable dude. Go ahead.
Well, and as I only mentioned half the bet. If Chris Curtis gets a finish, you get paid. If it goes to a decision, win, lose, doesn't matter. If it draw.
Do you know what it is right now?
Well, hold on. If it goes to a decision, you get a full refund. The bet never happened. I will probably end up with a refund here, but okay. What is it now?
Minus 115.
Okay.
I got it for plus 150. Yeah. Become a fucking premium member. I mean, that value is just on your phone. Unreal. I knew that was fucked up. They fucked up on that one.
If you were a premium member and first of all, at minus 115, it is still good money.
And I think, it's still good value. I would say it's minus 150 is where I would put it. Like where that's, you're like, okay, agree. You know.
Yeah, I would agree with that because Chris Curtis is not a guy that you really can. You're not going to knock him out. Now, granted, he did just get dropped by that headbutt with Kelvin, but he was dropped. He wasn't out. He recovered and still made his way to a decision.
Yeah, he was still fine. Yeah, and he would have won that fight if it wasn't for that. How's that appeal going? I don't know.
It's going to go. They never go anywhere. It's almost pointless to do it. They literally never go anywhere. But anyway, I think that's a great bet. If you're a premium member, link your Discord so you can get those alerts. And Jacob got it at plus 150. I did it the next day at plus 100. I should have tailed it when I saw it, but I was like, I'm always a little skittish early in the week, and then I just let it fly. Premium member, WeOnPicks.com, $10 a month, $7,700 in DraftKings, $8,500 in DraftKings. It's a tricky one. I'm going to have to look a little closer on Nassourdine's numbers to see because it's 3 rounds. It's going to be mostly striking. We're not going to see any takedowns. Nassourdine's going to land more strikes than he normally does because there's not going to be any takedowns in this at all. But, man, I don't know what kind of numbers he's going to put up. This is definitely probably a pick your side kind of fight. I'll have to look. You're going to spend the 77 on Chris Curtis and DraftKings?
It's going to be boom. It's going to be hop, hop. And then Nassourdine's going to lower that and then out.
Oh, I hope so. I'll get the pick wrong all day if my bet hits. Then we have a $2 super chat from Sam Pierce. He says, Jasmine or Nate score more in DK. Is he talking about, there's only one Nate in the card, right? Nate Landwehr?
Nate the Train. Choo choo.
Man, that's such a tricky question.
We'll get to Nate and we'll talk about Nate. But
yeah, well, and the only reason I was going to wait, but it was a super chat. That's a tough question to answer. Very tough question to answer.
Someone said, Curtis only knocked out the midget Buckley. What are you talking about? No, he knocked out Phil Hawes, which now we know. I mean, he probably is the one that made Phil Hawes chinny, honestly. And then he knocked out Brennan Allen, and Brennan Allen is smoking everyone now.
Yeah. People don't know what they're talking about. It's incredible. Chris Toronto does know what he's talking about. He's a premium member. He just super chatted $10, and he says, you guys have been spot on with your analysis. Keep up the great work. I'm up 12 units another week in a row, and I can take another vacation. Let's go. And Chris has been an OG. This dude has been here since like the minute we had anything. He was here. So thank you for the support all these years. And I'm glad that, we're able to help you out. I'm glad this is working out for you. So thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for the premium promo, basically. WeOnPicks.com, $10 a month. Be like Chris Toronto. Next up at UFC 289, we have the main card opener. Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Eryk Anders. Marc-Andre Barriault, 15-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses, and he's taking on the very tough, very athletic Eryk Anders, 15-7 overall, 2-1 in his last 5. And he's coming off that win over Kyle Dawkins where he basically beat him out of the UFC. It's an interesting matchup. Eryk Anders, he's an athlete. That's really his big, what's his style? His style is athlete.
College football player.
Bama.
College football player. Baby. Roll Tide.
He can wrestle. He played football. He played multiple sports at a high level. He can strike. He's competed at multiple sports his entire life, and he's just athletic. And you can see it out there. He mixes his punches and his kicks together really well. His speed is actually for a high-level athlete like that, he's not the fastest striker in the world, but you can tell how powerful he is, and he's always where he's like supposed to be. Something happens, boom, he's there. He's chasing things down. He's getting it done. He does keep his hands a little too low, which has gotten him in some trouble in the past, but his path to victory in most fights is wrestling. Come forward, wrestle hard, take people down, keep them there, beat them up, and he looks to hurt you literally everywhere. If you're in a scramble, he's going to punch you in the face. If you're standing, he's going to no matter what position he's in, he is looking to hurt you. And he's a tough guy to fight and a tough outing because of that. He's taking on Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got solid kickboxing, solid takedown, solid jiu-jitsu. He's typically looking to pressure forward, wear you down on your feet. He does have impressive striking volume. He's landing almost 6 significant strikes per minute, but he also is hit with more than 5. He is coming off that win over Julian Marquez. A lot of people thought he was going to win that fight, but not like that. He landed about 200
There were some people that were pretty high on Julian Marquez.
Yeah, and Marc-Andre whooped his ass.
Well, he lost the first round, so.
And then finished him.
It seemed like because that was at UFC 285. I was actually at the fights. That was actually a card where Tabitha Ricci and Amanda Hebos were both on that card. I watched Tabitha Ricci look fantastic, got the big win, and then Amanda Hebos came out, got the big win. I actually met. I don't know if you saw the picture back here, but I actually had a nice conversation with Amanda. They were actually both fighting at UFC Jacksonville. So I got to figure out how to get to UFC Jacksonville and maybe make it like a split shirt, because here's the shirt I was wearing. It kind of still smells like Amanda a little bit. So I might do like a little split action where it's like Amanda on one side, Tabitha on the other.
I muted you. I muted you. I got to keep going. I'm going with Eryk Anders in this fight. I think he can out-athlete. I think he can outwork. I think he can stay in Marc-Andre's face. I think he can get it done. But ignore the pick. Let's put the pick aside. We'll take the pick out of there. And let's talk about the bet. I just talked about that Chris Curtis bet. I did inside the distance decision, no action with Chris Curtis. I got the same thing with Eryk Anders. I think Eryk Anders wins inside the distance. Can win inside the distance. And I think he's tough enough to survive. I got him at minus 105. I'm actually more confident in the Chris Curtis one, and those odds are better. But half a unit on Eryk Anders, win inside the distance decision, no action. I do think he can win this fight. But Marc-Andre can certainly outwork him, out-technique him, and just win a decision. But I don't see Marc-Andre winning a stoppage here, so I'm going to take that chance with Eryk getting it done. Jakey boy, you're unmuted. What do you think?
Your pick is Eryk Anders, is that what you said?
It is Eryk, but... The pick is Marc-Andre, but the bet is Eryk. I think Marc-Andre is going to outwork, out-technique, but the bet is on Eryk win inside the distance decision, no action.
This is one of those fights where I cannot believe the line movement that happened on this fight. Do you know what the odds are right now on this fight? I mean, Marc-Andre has moved to a minus 124. It is getting close to a pick'em fight, and I can't believe that. And I am on the very, very biased side of I think Marc-Andre is not that good a fighter. I've picked against him twice for my lock of the week, which I don't think I've picked against somebody twice before, and both times he's beat my lock of the week. I picked Jordan Wright versus him because I thought Jordan Wright could out-wrestle him. Jordan Wright was having good success, and all of a sudden Marc-Andre finds this weird guillotine. Marc-Andre fights Julian Marquez. He's losing the first round, close first round, but he's losing the first round, and then all of a sudden just turns up the pace, turns up the pressure. Like I said, I was at the fights, and I was like, this guy, if he keeps throwing with this power, with this pressure and this volume, he's going to wear himself out. I mean, he was just, and I was like getting excited because I'm like, oh my God, he's going to gas, and then Julian Marquez is going to knock this guy out. Didn't gas at all. Lived up to the power bar nickname and finished my lock of the week, Julian Marquez. And I kind of see the same thing happening here. You mentioned Eryk Anders. He does kind of have power. He's a power striker, but I just don't see the power a lot of times. And he's an incredible athlete, but he just looks a little bit stiff inside the octagon. It looks like there's a lot of thinking involved. In my mind, for him to win this fight, I think he needs to wrestle. I think he needs to slow the pace down, almost kind of hold, Marc-Andre against the fence and just kind of very methodically, slowly win rounds and win this fight. And I just don't think that he's going to have the endurance to be able to hold Marc-Andre against the fence for 2 complete rounds to be able to win this decision. I think Marc-Andre Marc-Andre can do what he does. He might get pressed against the fence. He might be backing up a little bit early, but the second he starts finding his range, starts finding his pressure, he's going to turn up the pace. He's going to turn up the pressure. He's going to turn up the volume. He's going to turn this fight around. I think he can even find a finish, late second into the third round with that crazy, crazy volume against a guy like Eryk Anders. Because both these guys, I think, are well-rounded. I think they're both, decent fighters. Neither one of these guys is like a championship level guy. But in my mind, I think Marc-Andre just is a kind of a little bit of a better fighter, and he definitely is going to have the volume to get this done. So I'm actually pretty high on Marc-Andre in this fight. I was thinking about taking him at like minus, whatever, but I might if it keeps moving. What are we doing here?
I dropped. Go ahead. My contacts are dry. What's happening? Go.
If this keeps moving,
why'd that mess you up so bad?
Jesus Christ! You just like I look at you. Holy shit! Look at this guy. But if this keeps moving, I'm gonna wait and see if this moves to like if they think that they're gonna put Eryk Anders as the favorite in this fight. I'll jump all over that Marc-Andre line. I think it's already a good line where it's at right now, minus 124.
Yeah, I think I agree with. I think Marc-Andre can win a decision here. I absolutely think he can win a decision. I don't think he's going to finish Eryk Anders. Eryk Anders is a tough dude. He's not Julian Marquez, meaning he's not just going to stand there. Like, he's a tough guy. He will, like, Julian Marquez relies on his striking, relies on his chin. Eryk Anders will wrestle. Yeah, he'll get a little tired, but he's still athletic. He'll still bomb away. He'll still make stuff happen. So I think, at the very least, I think Eryk Anders can survive, which is why I placed that bet. The bet is he wins by finish or survives, and I think he can survive. And everybody in the chat talking about, Marc-Andre's a lock. He's going to knock out for sure. Then I hope you bet the shit out of that. I hope you bet the shit out of that. I mean, that's good money. Yeah. Marc-Andre inside the distance is decent odds. I hope you bet the shit out of that then.
I think he's good for this fight, but overall, there's a reason I picked against him for Lock of the Week twice. I don't think that guy's very good, but this is a good matchup for him.
I agree.
And I don't like the way that Eryk Anders kind of looks at the camera, too. He's just kind of a mystic look to him right now. He's
dead in the eyes, baby. Come forward, make something happen.
Marc-Andre looks like he's holding a fart. You hold a fart? You probably can't hold those back anymore. Not at your age. Those things just free flowing, baby.
Too loose. $7,800, $8,400. You spend that $84. You think you can win by finish?
I think he can. I don't think there's a high likelihood. So and I don't think he's very good anyway. So no thanks. I'd rather have what was the last fight where it was like $8,200, $8,300? What was the?
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Curtis's. Oh no, Chris Curtis is like 78 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him than either one of these guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Again, super tricky week. Only 11 fights, only 22 fighters to pick from, so it's not going to be the easiest card to figure out with DraftKings. But we do have a full DraftKings optimized. We have a DraftKings cheat sheet. The cheat sheet will give you all the information you need right in front of you. You're going to get the ownership projections, the scoring projections, and the leverage. Leverage is a proprietary number. We've got a kid behind the scenes. His name is Josh. Bangs out stats. He's a data analyst.
Disrespectful.
He is a kid. He's young. It's not Josh, the website, Josh.
I know. I understand.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. But he's not a kid. You're talking about a kid like some 13-year-old just driving the data behind our website. That's a kid. Let's show some fucking respect to our employees. Can we get HR on the line?
Yeah, it's Tiffany. You want to go to HR?
Let's move on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's going to come up with a proprietary leverage calculation. It's a score. It's a number. You take that, and it'll help you find your spots. And basically the leverage is saying this guy should do well. He's not going to be very highly owned. You could separate yourself from the pack. With this pick, everything you've ever need to try to build yourself a winning lineup. We on Picks.com, $10 a month, and we've got the tickets to prove it. People tweeting us $78,000, $13,000, $50,000, $60,000 lineups from premium members saying thanks for the stuff. We on Picks.com, $10 a month. Neo said, I wonder what they're doing for fight foods this weekend.
He said, wonder if they're doing. Let's not get too excited. Oh. He didn't ask I know you're about to go through the menu, so that's not what he asked. This is a simple yes or no, Angelo.
100% there'll be a fight. Jacob won't be there. Jacob is choosing not to come to my birthday bash.
I'm choosing everyone in this chat over you.
Okay. You don't know them.
Well,
you know me.
I think I do.
You
They know me. They know me. They know me. Some of them.
Do they? Yeah,
Some of them really know me inside and out.
Anyway, the Fight Foods is going to be a blast. We're having a big party at the house. Pinatas. It's catered. We're catering it. It's a whole thing.
It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting here just, damn it.
Talking to the screen. Talking to yourself.
And everyone in the chat better get fucking excited that I'm doing this too. So.
I mean, yeah, it legit, if I'm being honest with you, it hurt my feelings to see that you would.
Oh, I know it hurt your feelings.
100%. I'm being honest. It hurt my feelings.
I mean, the craziest part was that you were like surprised about it. It's like I've been saying for weeks that I'm fucking live streaming. I was like 9 straight weeks of cards. I'm streaming the whole time.
It's a little.
Nothing stops this fucking train. Get out of the way, Angelo.
I'm curious if anybody reasonable in the chat. This is one of my best friends. I turned 40, having a big party. I've been talking about it for weeks. Jacob's going to know a lot of people there because I've brought Jacob into my life, into my circle.
I'll know like 3 or 4 people.
You'll know way more than 3 or 4 people. Okay.
Maybe 4
you're gonna
or
know
5.
You're gonna know Casey, Lindley, Bo, Jay, Jen, me, my brother, Tiffany. That's 8. My kids. I'm not even including children. It's ridiculous.
I do know the children.
Anyway, it's a little hurtful.
You know what? You know what's funny, and I told you this.
I would never do that.
There was a moment when I was a kid. And obviously, when you're kids, you look forward to your birthday parties, and it's real exciting. And when I was a kid, I had custom cakes, man, like a Batman cake. I had like a Bert and Ernie cake. I was like real excited about it. I think it was almost closing in on my 10th birthday, and I was talking to my parents. Hey, I think what are we doing for my birthday? I think we should do this or we should do this. Maybe go to fucking what was the big arena with all the tubes and stuff back in the day, like not Game Zone or something, or what was it? The huge,
Discovery Zone,
something like that. I'm like, what are we gonna do for my birthday? My dad looked at me and said, "You're too old for birthday parties now." I was fucking 10 years old, and you're 40 years old talking about my birthday.
Okay, and look how we've turned out. I'm a social butterfly. I'm a social butterfly with many circles of friends and people.
I've got
700 there.
I've got 700 friends every Saturday night that I hang out with. So you're
trap
talking about
you're
8 or
falling
9
into.
at your house. I got fucking 700 of these motherfuckers in the chat right now that I hang out with every Saturday night.
8 or 9 that you'll know. I did the math. It's gonna be 38 people.
Well, it's gonna be 1,000 this Saturday for me. So
I hope it is. I mean, you did me wrong, hurt my feelings. I hope it is.
And we did have over 700 people last Saturday. So
I know. I was very proud of you for fight nights all day, man. But pay-per-views, that's what
you know. You told me a few weeks ago, which really kind of pissed me the fuck off. I was talking about the streams. They're going well. We had that little break or whatever and stuff. And you were like, "Yeah, I bet by the end of the year you'll have 1,000 people." Get the. I said, "Give me 6 weeks. It's gonna be fucking like 3 or 4 weeks. We're gonna have 1,000 people in there."
I hope so.
Stupid ass.
I hope so. Sam was like, Angelo, he made over $1,000 in this trial. No, you fucking didn't. You didn't get.
Well, everyone got real excited because we have Big DV shows
pesos.
up. Yeah, Big DV shows up every Saturday and he donates 500 pesos at the time, and everyone's like, "Holy shit!" Because he did that, but he did gift like fucking 40 memberships or something crazy like that.
No, and
I mean, he's a big supporter.
Yeah,
we're not trying to be little DV, but people see the 500 like, "Holy shit!" Because he did that like 5 or 6 times or something like that. It is pesos, but we appreciate 100%. He's a good dude.
This is a long off-topic rant. I'll timestamp this. You can just move past it. But even if you did get $1,000 in donations, that's what I'm worth. What a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Fucking
Angelo
joke.
gets mad because I'm building this community. I'm doing it. I mean, that's the best.
I'm trying to build memories.
That's the best birthday present I could give you is even more premium memberships. We know that's all Angelo wants. That's all he's looking for.
This is where we're fundamentally different people.
What do you mean?
I'm all about, me. I want to spend time with people in real life, hang out, build memories, have fun, tell stories. Last time you came over for a pay-per-view was one of the most fun ones we had. So I'm like, we're going to do that again.
I kind of just sat on the couch and was hanging out by myself.
Giggled, nonstop giggled.
I had somebody in my ear for a while that I couldn't really.
All right, let's move on. Next up, at UFC 289, we've got I don't want to say a controversial fight, but a lot of people arguing back and forth who's going to win this fight. We got Dan Ige taking on Nate the Train Landwehr. Dan Ige, 16-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off the destruction of Damon Jackson. He's taking on Nate Landwehr, 17-4 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak. Dan Ige is a fantastic kickboxer. He's got speed. He's got power. He also has some pretty underrated BJJ and wrestling. His takedown defense looks low, right? It's listed at 52%. That's not a particularly high number, but this dude has only fought killers for the last 3 years. He did just break a 3-fight skid with a stoppage over Damon Jackson, and the real takeaway from that was, well, there's levels to this, because Damon Jackson, like Nate Landwehr, come forward pressure grappler, was on himself a nice little streak, had a knockout, a standing one-punch knockout. What are you doing? Am I blinking like that? Why are you blinking like an idiot?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Move on.
What is happening?
Move on, please.
Are people on my side in the chat? Is that what's happening? I hope so. Some of these people must have some real friends, or maybe not. That's why they're here. No offense, people. Actually, here on Tuesday is no big deal. Here on a Saturday, when your best friend is having a birthday party, is a big deal. Anyway, Nate is a wild man. He's going to come forward. I got to fucking minimize the screen. Nate is going to come forward, high-pressure striker, looking high-pressure wrestling, just constant pressure. He's absolutely wild. He's going to chase a finish at all costs. He's going to do whatever he wants. He is a talented guy. He's got power. He does have skills, but he just gets so caught up in the moment, so focused on having fun that he just loses opportunities, right? Like when he could be wrestling, he's just throwing bombs. When he could be, making something happen, he's not. What is happening? You're driving me nuts.
I'm just sitting here,
You're looking around. You're blinking like crazy. What is going on?
I'm just sitting here, man.
Good, yeah, fuck you. Cry it out. Fuck you. Nate can win this fight. He can come forward. He can have pressure. He can absolutely win this fight, but I think it's going to look similar to the Damon Jackson. I think we're going to see the levels here. I think Dane's not really going to have a problem with the craziness, not really going to have a problem with the pressure, and he'll fire back at his own pace there. And I think Dan Ige can get this done. Everybody talking about Dan Ige free money, I think that's nonsense. I think even minus 250 is a bit wide for a dude that is 2-3 in his last 5 and just beat a guy who hasn't really earned his keep just yet. I do think Dan Ige wins. He's going to be the much better fighter everywhere. But that pressure, that pace, that nonstop wrestling of Nate Landwehr could be a problem. The pick's going to be Dan Ige. I'm avoiding this with bets, and I think people using Dan Ige as a parlay piece could end up being Jamie Malarkey'd. What do you think?
Let me just first off saying that I am obviously, if you don't know my history, I'm very biased towards Nate the Train, one of the greatest lock of the weeks all the time. And everyone that's acting like a Nate the Train fan was the same people that were destroying me all week when I picked him as lock of the week versus David Onama. Oh my God, how can you pick him against David Onama? Came through as one of the greatest lock of the weeks of all time because I knew that he could break down David Onama, because that's what Nate Landwehr does. He just kind of breaks people down. Now, David Onama showed a lot of heart in that fight. He was not completely broken down. He was fighting back, but Nate did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He can break people down. Unfortunately, in this fight, Dan Ige is a guy that you cannot break down. I mean, you cannot break. He is just as tough as Nate the Train. So the fact that some people think that Nate the Train's going to come in and do what he does and just high volume and break this guy down, I don't see it happening. And when Nate does break people down, he still kind of waits around to do it. He'll kind of take his time. He's picking his spots. And while he is kind of waiting around, and he does kind of move forward, but while he is doing that, before he starts getting crazy, he is standing in front of people. He is boxing, and Dan Ige is the much better boxer in this matchup. So I love Nate the Train. He is going to be my pick in this fight because I think that he can make this a dirty fight. In my mind, Nate needs to come across, and he's got to pressure early. He's got to get the power out of the hands of Dan Ige, because Dan Ige's power, especially in the pocket, in the boxing pocket, when they are nice and tight in the phone booth, the power that he possesses is very, very dangerous for Nate. If I was game planning for Nate, and Dan Ige is a good grappler, he's a good wrestler, but he can get kind of held against the fence a little bit at times. If I was Nate, I would come in and I would try to wrestle this guy immediately just to try and get some of the pop out of his shots, get some of the power out of his legs, out of his arms, get the blood flowing into his arms. So if you are in the pocket later in the fights, because Nate will stand in the pocket and do his wild stuff, the power is no longer there for Dan Ige. But I'm picking Nate, but this is a awful bad matchup for him because he's not going to be able to break Dan Ige down the way that he has in past opponents. And when he's standing in the pocket trying to strike with a guy like Dan Ige is going to land big shots. I think one of the most likely outcomes for this fight is Dan Ige hurts Nate. Nate now takes a bad shot because he's hurt and he's panicking, and Dan Ige is able to out-scramble him and find a submission in this fight. I don't think he's going to knock out Nate cold because Nate's a tough dude. He can work through those positions, but I think he's going to grapple out of desperation, get caught in a scramble, get submitted. That's probably the most likely outcome, but I'm going to stick with my dude Nate the Train. I'm never going to pick against him until I see that he's finally going to lose again. I think he can definitely pull out a weird, sloppy decision. I hope he gets it done. I think it's better for everyone, no offense to Dan Ige, if he comes through and wins this wild. Even if he finds a finish, oh my God, that place is going to go absolutely insane. He's a fun dude. He would be great for the division to kind of keep pushing. Imagine him as a title contender. It'll be so much fun. I'm going to be rooting for him. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for him, but this is a very dangerous fight for Nate Landwehr. I'm scared for him. He is going to be my pick, but that's not like a that's not like a pick where it's like, oh yeah, let's load. He picked him, so let's load up on Nate Landwehr. It's
yeah.
This is going to be a tough one, man. I'll be very surprised if he pulls this off. I hope he does.
I mean, it could literally look exactly like Dan Ige's last fight.
I don't have a bet. Somebody said, "Oh, so you're betting on Nate because you're a fan, not a smart bet." I don't have a bet on Nate Landwehr.
I mean, I think we've established a lot of these people just sort of say things. They just
Come
say
on,
stuff.
man, do better.
Doesn't matter. They just say.
Picks are different. If you guys don't realize, just because we're picking people doesn't mean we're putting money on them. We're just making picks for picks. That's what we do.
Picks are different than bets.
If you want to see
all the bets.
If you want to see the bets.
$9,100 in DraftKings. Man, this is tricky. I might fade Dan Ige in DraftKings at $9,100. This could look, there's just too many questions here. This could look exactly like Dan Ige's last fight. Oh, I have an aggressive wrestler that hasn't really beat anybody high level. Watch what I do to him. Could look just like that. Or you could just straight up get outworked. That is a real possibility. So $9,100. Are you going to, I mean, well, you're on the other side, but you're definitely not spending 71.
I don't think he is my pick for this fight, but it's going to be a tough one if he pulls it off, man. I hope he does.
It should be this should be the featured fight. We'll break down the featured fight in a second. This should be the featured fight. This would be a fun fight. They're going to go at each other. There's a meaningful outcome from here. Nate's on a nice little win streak, fighting a ranked opponent.
Imagine this. Can I just put this scenario out there? I put it in Discord, and could you imagine this fight? Imagine, because I'm obviously, Viva Mexico. I love my Mexicans, so I feel good, and we'll break that fight down eventually. Actually, but the Yair, I'm talking about the Yair fight.
Well, you know what the theme is on Saturday? It's a fiesta. We got piñatas. We order Mexican food. We got a mariachi band, the whole thing.
Cool.
But go ahead. Tell us how much you love Mexico.
But imagine Yair wins the title. Let's say he defends it again versus Volk. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen." But let's just play pretend. Let's have some fun here. Could you imagine if Nate wins this fight, wins one or two more fights, and we get a title shot of Yair Rodriguez and Nate Landwehr? You know how fucking insane that fight would be? It would be absolutely bananas. Bananas. That's the dream.
I guess we'll see what happens. You want to see all of our bets and picks and everything else? WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. It is by far the most robust premium membership in this space. Period. End of story. Other people are trying to charge you $10 for a spreadsheet. We have that spreadsheet. It's included. Other people are trying to charge you $10 for an optimizer.
If people are charging more than $10, they better have a fucking OnlyFans link connected to that. They better have full dick out whenever you want it.
I mean, I don't know how anybody could charge more than that, especially not with what we're giving away. Or I don't know how people could charge that. How are you charging $10 for your 6 bets on Patreon when you could have ever wanted?
I don't make any sense
it's all
to
right.
me.
Well, we have, I know how it makes sense. We have well over 2,000 premium members, and all those people have like 150. And it's just because at a certain point, the value is just so incredible, it makes sense. WeOwnPicks.com, click become a member. There's a couple random chats that caught my eye. Let me catch up on these really quickly. Neo said, what happens to the $100 perfect card pick? That's there. It's right. There's on your phone, you don't see it on your phone, but on desktop or if you have an iPad, there is a green button right smack at the top of our website that says make your picks. If you pick a perfect card, right, and this card has 11 fights, the caveat is there has to be at least 10. If a couple fights drop, we're not going to pay you on a 9-fight card. But if you pick a perfect card, we send you $100 as a congratulations. And there's no, you don't need to be a premium member, none of that nonsense. Click the button, make your picks. If you get them all right, we send you $100. So it is still there, big green button right smack in the middle of the screen. I don't think that shows up on mobile. It might, but I don't think that shows up on mobile.
And also, real quick, I just put in the chat my link, WeWantPicks.com/lock. You can vote for your lock of the week. We track the community lock of the week and all that good stuff. So you can click that link that I just put in there and see how you guys do.
Yeah, 100%.
Which, right now, community 1 and 3 since we started tracking. So they picked Crone Gracie, Brian Battle, that was a good one, Michael Johnson, and Abubakar Nurmagomedov. So,
and then Abubakar was a good pick, but didn't work out.
Good pick. He looked like fucking ass. The dude did nothing the entire fight.
I know, but he should have won that decision.
No, he should have. He did nothing.
Torque Lewis.
You're the guy that you also came into the live chat too and was like, "Oh, Johnny Munoz Jr. actually kind of looks good that round." What the fuck round you were watching? He never looked good.
The third round.
When he was on his back, just like stalling.
When he was on top and Daniel Santos was on his back.
Oh, the 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's literally exactly when I wrote it.
Oh, he's looking good this round.
Torque says, "What's the most you've had in a live stream?" And it was 713 from his live stream on Saturday.
Every single week it gets more. It was the most was
that was
100,
the undoing.
And then it was 175, and then it was 215, and it was 275, and every week it's exponentially growing because I'm the best in the fucking business, baby. I mean, you guys can try and do what I do. Nobody can fucking touch me in the live streams, and everyone in here that watches the live streams knows that we have so much fun. I involve the community. Everything that I do is the best. We get the board involved. We have a good time. I have custom songs now.
Listen, I'm not going to disagree with a single thing you
say
said. He literally wrote
say I'm the fucking best
live streamer,
and say it like in like a mysterious,
friend, not so good. Oh, and
like
then
a
there was
mysterious
another
voice, like say like you're the best. I do. Whisper it to me.
No,
whisper it to me. I'm gonna turn my volume up. I'm gonna close my eyes. Whisper it to me.
You're a short ginger that gets sunburned walking to your car. And another question was how many times we met in real life. This isn't some random like boy band smashed together fake podcast and we met in the community. Him and I are friends in real life, and we've been friends long before this podcast. So we've hung out in real life hundreds of times, thousands of times potentially. And we have a $20 super chat from Santiago Mendez. Santiago says, "That's a perfect circle." $20 super chat. Let's move on. Next up at UFC 289, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Mike Malott 9-1 taking on Adam Fugitt 9-3. Mike Malott, pretty aggressive guy. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He has a very loose striking style that allows him to box and kickbox pretty comfortably. He is technically sound. He manages range really well. He doesn't have any sort of specific background. He's this new age, just straight up fighter, right? Like not a wrestler that's converted, not jiu-jitsu that's converted, not a kickboxer that's trying to learn. He knows it all. He's learned it all, and he's been doing it all since day one. He's taken on Adam Fugitt. He's a forward pressure wrestler. An aggressive wrestler, very loose boxing style. He bounces on his toes. He's got a high guard, and then he lunges in for takedowns. He's incredibly strong. And even when he doesn't have the best takedown entries, he's strong enough to pick you up or force you to the cage and make that happen. And this is an interesting matchup. A lot of people, this is another free money, Mike Malott, free money. This is actually an interesting matchup. It's a tricky matchup because while Mike Malott is 3-0 in the UFC, if you're including Contender Series, with 3 stoppages, and he's looked good in his feet. He's looked good grappling. He's looked good everywhere. We haven't seen him fight somebody that is just non-stop looking to take him down. We have not seen that yet. So we may see Mike Malott not like getting backed up. We may see him struggle with the pressure backwards, defending takedowns. Like, we may see him have some of those issues because stylistically, we haven't seen this fight just yet. I still think Mike Malott's going to win. He's obviously very clearly a talented guy. I think he can do all the things, and I think he's better everywhere other than pure wrestling than Adam Fugitt. So Mike Malott's going to be the pick. But if Adam Fugitt's going to come forward, nonstop pressure, Mike Malott could have a tough time, a long night. And it hasn't dropped yet, but I think the solid bet here will be Adam Fugitt more takedowns. We'll see what happens when BetOnline drops that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I do think Adam Fugitt's going to get a couple of takedowns here, but I think Mike Malott will get it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
To me, these guys look like they could be brothers, but Adam Fugitt was kind of the older brother that's kind of like the degenerate, has some drug issues, kind of shows up to holidays once every couple years with like all the stuff in a trash bag. And Mike Malott was the guy that was like the star athlete that went to private school, is finishing up his doctorate. Don't you think that these guys could be brothers looking at him? Kind of got the same jawline.
No.
All right. Well, I think that Mike Malott does win this fight because I think he does have the tools and intangibles to get this fight done. But like you said, I don't trust Mike Malott. I mean, the guy does get hit, and we don't know how he's going to react in a war yet. And this is one of those fights that could turn into a war. Look, if Mike Malott comes in and just smokes him, takes him down, submits him, or knocks him out, I wouldn't be like crazy surprised because that's what he has been doing in fights. He's got an unbelievable amount of first-round finishes. But if this turns into an absolute war, because Adam Fugitt is a durable guy, he is a tough dude, and he can wrestle. He's starting to turn up the wrestling a little bit more in his fights. And if he does come in, this is almost the same situation as the Nate Landwehr Ige fight. I think that Adam Fugitt needs to come in and
Stop
really...
saying Fugitt.
What am I supposed to say?
Fugitt.
I think that Adam Fugitt should come in and really try to push the pressure and the wrestling and try to put this guy on his back and extend the fight, because if you extend this fight, we really don't know yet how Mike Malott is going to react in an all-out war type situation against a guy as tough as Adam Fugitt. So... I am picking Mike Malott, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to, if you want to put him in parlays, if you trust him that much, I guess I get it. But there's nothing wrong with these guys that have so many first-round finishes. Just kind of wait and see. Wait till they go through the fire. Wait till they become a nail in a fight and see how they react. And then we can start putting money on him. And then we can start putting him in parlays. So, yes, he can come in. He can get that first-round finish. He has the talent level over a guy like Adam. But you don't need to force money. Even on a card with only 11 fights, and this is the hometown guy, whatever it is, I don't think you need to force money on Mike Malott just yet. Let's wait and see. Let's see if he can get through the fire. Adam could be the guy that brings the fire to him, but, Mike Malott is going to be the pick, but I do worry a little bit because Adam does have some wrestling. He is a tough dude. He does seem a little bit stiff. I mean, he's got that weird little stance. He like this, But, I think Mike Malott's going to get it done.
Yeah, we're on the same side there. I agree. I think minus 205 is actually okay to bet if you want to bet that, but not parlay. I would not parlay that. Too many questions. Like I said, that forward pressure from Fugitt could be a real issue. We don't know, but he is a talented guy. He's proven he can win fights multiple ways. And, they have very similar. It's not even like, Mike Malott, this
like
young,
they're brothers.
Untested. This young, untested, 9-1 versus 9-3. So they both have similar levels of experience here, and the UFC knows what they're doing. I mean, they put Mike Malott in the feature fight on a Canadian pay-per-view to try to build themselves a Canadian superstar. That's what they're doing here. They're trying to make that happen. So it probably does happen, but we'll see. $8,800 in DraftKings. It's a little expensive, but I do think this is one of the few fights I can confidently say probably does not go to a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it goes to a decision. Honestly, with the guy with so many first-round finishes, that $8,800 might be one of the better values on the card, honestly.
Sure. Well, when Amanda Nunes fights, they got to give her a giant price point. So
what a joke, too, huh?
Okay.
Viva
we'll talk
Mexico.
about that in a minute. We have a $2 super chat from Degenerate UFC fan. He says, I think Fugitt will win. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Degenerate. If you want to unlock the bet that I do have on this fight, as well as my safety parlay, which if you didn't know, my safety parlay hits at over, I think it's 73 point something percent. We are on a 8.
I got a little tingle in my penis there.
I think we're on an 8 streak right now. And it's up almost 9.8 units. It is 9.8 units on the year. So the safety parlay absolutely crushing it for premium members only. Unlock that and everything else. $10 a month at WeWantPicks.com. Next up, at UFC 289, we have the co-main event of the evening. This is a huge co-main event. I appreciate this co-main event. It's giving this card a little bit of oomph. We got former champion Charles Oliveira taking on perennial contender Beneil Dariush. Charles Oliveira, 33-9 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the 11-fight win streak, losing loss to Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, what is that flag?
It's some random-ass small country. I forget. It's on Tapology. Beneil Dariush, 22-4 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding an 8-fight win streak, and he has beaten every contender of the last couple of years. They give him a contender, he beats him, gets passed up for a title shot. They give him a contender, he beats him, gets passed up for a title shot. And he's coming off that win over Mateusz Gamrot. Charles Oliveira, we all know him at this point. He was the champion for a very long time, and he's one of the most well-rounded fighters you're going to get. He's got phenomenal striking, incredibly technical, laser pinpoint accuracy, which gives him some very real power. And he's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. He has the most submission wins in UFC history. He's averaging 2 takedowns per fight. I mean, he does everything. He does it all well. He's a very, very good fighter that really didn't find himself until later in his career, right? You see there's 9 losses there. Somebody that talented having 9 losses. Well, he hit that streak. He really found his own the last couple of years. He's taking on Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is also very good everywhere. You don't go on that streak being very one-dimensional. He's good everywhere. He's got very good power. He's got some solid control. He's also averaging almost 2 takedowns per fight. And he is a no-gi BJJ world champion. So he's competing in tournaments. He's the more accomplished jiu-jitsu practitioner of the two, just as far as straight credentials and accomplishments are concerned. Obviously, Charles Oliveira, a little more effective, most submission wins in UFC history. But Beneil Dariush really showcased his grappling credentials, his grappling abilities, his defensive wrestling in that Gamrot win. His defensive scrambles were absolutely incredible. I mean, he was able to just do things that we haven't seen other people do with Gamrot. We've seen Gamrot lose, but we have not seen people out-scramble Gamrot the way that Beneil Dariush did. So, I do think Beneil Dariush wins this fight. I think, and people are going to absolutely hate this, I think Charles Oliveira hit the perfect streak at the perfect time. I think I don't want to say he's overrated, because he's clearly not overrated. He's accomplished more than 99% of light heavyweights that ever. He's accomplished more than Islam did, other than being undefeated. So I'm not going to say he's overrated, but I think the people he beat weren't the best people on the planet. He loses to Gamrot the same way he just lost to Islam. And I think Beneil Dariush watched that Islam fight. He's going to come forward. He's going to pressure. He's not going to be afraid to go to the ground with him. He'll get it to the ground. And I think Beneil Dariush wins this fight. Obviously, Charles Oliveira can submit him in a scramble. It'd be ludicrous to not think that was possible. But I think Beneil Dariush's grappling credentials can sort of keep him out of some of that trouble. So I like Beneil Dariush to get it done. I threw 1.5 units on him at minus 125 about a month ago when they announced this. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Azria is the flag. Azria was a major ancient Mesopotamian civilization which existed as a city from the 21st century BC to the 14th century BC, then to a territorial state, and eventually an empire from 14th century BC to the 7th century BC. That is via Wikipedia. That is the flag that you have there for Beneil Dariush. So, the more you know there in that situation. Now to get to this fight, let me just say that nothing in this fight would surprise me. Dariush can get knocked out. If he got knocked out, wouldn't surprise me. Oliveira can get knocked out. If he got knocked out, wouldn't surprise me. Dariush can get submitted. If he got submitted, wouldn't surprise me. Oliveira can get submitted. If he got submitted. So nothing in this fight would surprise me. But when I'm breaking down this fight, one of the most important things to me in this situation was, and let me first off by saying, my pick is going to be Charles Oliveira. The champ has a name. It is Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. But I am scared to death that he is going to get put out. Because Beneil Dariush will just move forward. Because he doesn't care if you try to take him down. Because he knows that he can out-scramble positions. So he moves forward and he throws heavy hands. And we saw Charles Oliveira get dropped time and time and time and time again. But with that Islam fight, it felt to me that he came out and was trying to prove a little bit too much. He seemed a little bit too amped up in that fight because you saw him, he came out with a flying kick. And then 5 seconds into the fight, he's getting, lit up with that right hand because he's pressuring. It wasn't smart pressure. We see Oliveira all the time pressure. He's a pressure, shoot the box guy, but a lot of the time it is smart pressure. He still gets hit, but he wasn't as reckless as he was in that Islam fight. And even a minute into that fight, he's pulling guard on Islam in that fight, jumping up and pulling guard. And it felt like he thought that he was going to be a lot more successful in his guard than he was. We get to the second round, and it felt like when I'm watching that fight that he kind of lost track of what he wanted to do. But his guard wasn't working. He got hit. He thought he was going to have success with the feet. So I'm going to take that Islam fight as like a little bit of a weird fight when it comes to Charles Oliveira. So I'm not going to put a ton of weight in that fight. And it was Islam, and we know who Islam is. But the biggest breakdown for me in this fight was watching the Dariush Gamrot fight. And I picked Gamrot that fight, and I thought Gamrot was going to steamroll this guy because I thought he was going to be able to get the takedowns. But when he was shooting those takedowns, the way that Dariush avoids being taken down is he scrambles out of positions by just kind of rolling through stuff. If you get to his legs, which Gamrot was able to get to his legs, was able to get to those positions, he is rolling through positions. He is doing the weird stuff. And Gamrot, to his credit, he won't play the jiu-jitsu game. He wants to end up on top. He wants to be the guy in a top position. He will not settle for weird stuff. The difference is Charles Oliveira will do the weird stuff. So if they get in those same type of scrambles that Gamrot was in, Charles Oliveira will do the weird stuff. He will do the leg locks. He will do the off the back, the triangles. He will look for the arm bars. He will look for the weird stuff in those scrambles that Gamrot does not look for and was not looking for. And I believe that in an MMA mixed martial arts fight, when they are rolling around doing the weird stuff, that Charles Oliveira is a better grappler in pure jiu-jitsu scrambles than a guy like Dariush. Dariush has shown that he doesn't really want to play around. He could have tried to just out-scramble Gamrot, ended up on the ground, try to take top position, but he wanted to get back to his feet because he really kind of wants to just kind of strike with people. He wants to throw heavy hands. And I think that there's going to be some weird scrambles, and Charles Oliveira is going to eventually find something weird in this fight and get the job done. If not, I think he's able to get to positions to be able to win rounds in this fight and be able to pull this fight off. I don't think Charles Oliveira is done yet, man. I think that Islam fight was a little bit of an anomaly. He's going to come through. Both these guys are hittable. Both these guys can get submitted. Like I said, nothing would surprise me in this fight, but I'm going to back my guy, my Brazilian. As you know, I'm going to become a premium member. I'm trying to move to Brazil. My Brazilian brother, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, I think is going to be able to find something in this fight to either win rounds or get a win by finish. Do Bronx is my pick, but I'm scared to death. I am scared to death because he is such a chinny guy, and Dariush hits like a fucking truck, man.
Yeah, I threw that. I wasn't nervous when I placed that bet. They dropped the line. I was like, minus 125. Bam. I hit the opening line. And then I was like, should I have? But then, like I said, you look at who Oliveira's beaten. He's beaten a lot of great people, but we've talked about this before. We talk about the Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. Like, they're not, the rankings and the actual skill levels aren't aligned in this
100%
division.
agree. 100% agree.
Like, they're just not aligned. Like,
they are
Dustin
top 10
Poirier,
guys. They are not top 3 guys.
Correct. And no fault of their own. They're beating who they're supposed to beat and stuff. But what basically has ended up happening is they're all names. So the UFC just keeps booking names against names for these big fights, for these fun fights, the fights that they can promote. And then there's people like Damir, Arman, a bunch of those guys.
Garam.
There's just a bunch of those guys.
Ryan Hall.
beating the crap out of everybody behind the scenes, they haven't been afforded the opportunity to fight one of those guys. And I think they'd beat every single one of them. And I think those rankings, the 1 through 5 and the 5 through 10 would literally completely flip if they all fought each other. So my point there being, Charles Oliveira hasn't really beaten those guys, and Beneil's only beaten one of them, Gamrot. It's not like he's got a whole world of beating them all either.
It wasn't like he beat the shit. I mean, that was a close fight.
I thought Gamrot could have gotten that decision.
Yeah, all he did was basically just defend takedowns to be able to win that.
Correct.
And he obviously dropped him. But and Gamrot is one of those guys that kind of everyone drops him as well too. So it's not like he came in and was like super offensive.
No,
it was just dominating the positions, and
the circumstances were impressive. It was after God knows how long away, injuries. He gets underestimated because he looks like a dad that lives on the block.
He looks like
he just looks like, I wish, man. That's fantastic hair. That's great hair.
Same color.
Anyway, it is the same color.
He's kind of a sneaky, good-looking dude, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
He's one of those guys that like every single if he went to like a college town, every college girl would be like, I want to fuck that guy.
The dad, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Sure. That type of like, just like, and he's like so cool and calm and just whatever.
Relax.
And I also love that Charles Oliveira is like still like a super grounded dude. Even after the loss, he didn't change a bunch of stuff after a loss. He didn't do anything. He's still doing his own thing. Do you know what he bought? Like some of his biggest purchases. You know, everyone's like, they buy the houses and the yachts and this and whatever. He bought racing horses and a bunch of cows. You saw that on the event. He's like so proud to show them off too. I fucking love Dubras, man. He's a good dude. I can't wait to go to when I move to Brazil. Me and him are gonna be best friends, and I can't wait.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for that. WeOwnPicks.com. Unlock the safety parlay. Unlock all the picks, all the bets, the optimizer, the tools, the information, everything you've ever need. We got some stuff going on. This fight, WeOwnPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Next up at UFC 289, we have the new main event of the event. I say new, but it's about a month old, month and a half. It's not that new. But Irene Aldana stepping in. This was supposed. Why are you saying what the
Como te llamas?
I'm going to do this whole biblioteca.
What was that? What the fuck did you just say?
You didn't learn Me gusta la biblioteca?
Tengo el gato los pantalones?
Anyway.
Grande.
This was supposed to be Amanda Nunes fighting, what's her name, in a trilogy. What the hell's her name?
Juliana Pena.
In a trilogy fight. But
damn it to hell. Damn it. Damn it.
That got scrapped.
Everyone was looking forward to that one.
Because the last fight was an absolute mauling. The first round of the first fight was an absolute mauling. We didn't need to see that again. Irene Aldana, genuine title contender, earned this shot. They could have given it to her without Juliana Pena dropping. We got Amanda Nunes 22-5. She is 4-1 in her last 5. And that only loss was to Juliana Pena, which was avenged. She's taking on Irene Aldana, 14-6 overall. She is 4-1 in her last 5, and she is riding a 2-stoppage win streak. Amanda Nunes, a lot of people call her the GOAT. Actually, this is that turd that I said is just a negative Nancy, whiny, crybaby bitch boy, that guy gray shirt. In my breakdown, I said a lot of people talk about Amanda Nunes being the GOAT, and you could argue I said GOAT a few times. He's like, can we please stop with it? Shut the fuck up. She has accomplished more in her division than anybody else has accomplished in any division, including John Jones. Including John Jones, because she is the concurrent.
We've got a couple of women coming up. We're looking at Tabitha Ricci.
Don't get all
We're looking
horny.
at Amanda,
I'm breaking this
Amanda Hebas.
Jesus Christ.
That are going to take that title probably.
Anyway, Amanda Nunes, concurrent 2-division champion, has only looked like a human being one time in the last 5 years or whatever. 9 years. 9 years. She has looked like a human being one time in 9 years, and she beat that woman 3/4 to death shortly after. So Amanda Nunes is that good. She's good everywhere. She can wrestle. She can strike. She's got very real power in 2 different divisions. She knocked out Cyborg, who at the time was not a human being. And she has cardio when she trains. That's the big question that everybody has. I don't think it's a shock that people have that take. Well, even Dana White had that take. Amanda Nunes has some money now. She's got kids now. Like, how much does she actually want this? Because, she's She's there, like she's showing up, but she didn't show up against Juliana that first time. And that's really the only knock you could ever have on Amanda Nunes is in that one fight, she seemed to get tired. That's the only knock you can have on her. Because skill, power, everything else, it's all there. She is taking on Irene Aldana, very technical boxer. She's got some legit power. She sets a really solid pace, and she's able to keep fight standing with her 81% takedown defense. Her only loss in her last however long was to Holly Holm. Holly Holm, former professional boxer, and you may think, oh, Holly Holm must have outboxed her, right? No, Holly Holm decided to wrestle. She took her down a bunch of times, 5 times to be exact, because she didn't want to strike with Irene Aldana. And it's actually that Holly Holm fight, which is why I'm even more positive Amanda Nunes wins this fight. I think she'll probably strike for a little bit. What the fuck are you doing? I think she'll probably strike for a little bit, maybe get touched a few times and say, fuck this, and start to wrestle. I see all of them. And then we know she should be able to out-wrestle Irene Aldana. Obviously, there's that narrative. Is she in shape? Is she training as hard as she should be? I don't know. That's the only reason I'm not hitting this. That's the only reason this line is this line. She should be a minus 600 favorite based off just purely paper and her accomplishments. But one time in 9 years, she got tired, and that's what everybody's worried about. And real quick, before I hand it over, somebody said you can't compare women's MMA to men's. Of course you can. John Jones.
No, you cannot, because women are far superior. I mean, I'm one of those people that will just put my neck out there and say that women, this world would be nothing without beautiful Brazilian women.
Well, and frankly, the reason you can compare it as far as GOAT status is concerned, you want to say, oh, she fought a bunch of bums. She beat the best women on the planet. And yes, John Jones has done that as well. But John Jones has a couple of scrubs in there that really just earned title shots sort of for no reason. And that whole generation of fighters are not nearly as good as these generation of fighters. So right now, John Jones is the GOAT. But my overall point is Amanda has a very real argument, and she wins a couple more of these. What the hell else is she going to do? What the hell else is she going to do? When their careers are both said and done, we can make an official assessment. Right now, they're the two. They are the two that you could actually debate on. Go ahead, Jakey. Tell us why she's going to lose this fight.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not a big John Jones fan, but I think it's pretty clear that his resume stacks up pretty well and a little bit over.
And I'm not saying she is. I'm saying there's an argument to be. I was just saying there is an argument to be made.
I don't think there's much of an argument there. That guy's something else there. So I don't know if you want to retract that real quick before I go to my breakdown here.
Like when everybody said he lost to Dominic Reyes, he didn't win that fight.
But he did.
Okay, but everybody said he didn't. But go ahead, continue.
It's not a good look for the main event here, Angelo. I don't know if you want to edit that one out or.
Can you just?
Let me just say, yeah, I will get into the correct breakdown of this fight. Absolutely. There's 3 things probably that we need to realize in this fight. Number 1, Amanda Nunes is beatable. She's lost 5 times. She lost her, 2 fights ago. She is beat. She's not like this invincible. She's not John Jones, right? I mean, you can beat somebody like Amanda Nunes. Number 2, she is hittable. I mean, even when she's having success, she is hittable. Obviously, the first Pena fight, she was getting lit up in the first round. She was trying to knock out Pena. She got tired. She tried to take it, and then she ended up getting submitted. But even in that second fight where she was having unbelievable success and she was landing the counter shots and stuff, Juliana Pena was still landing some decent shots. Number 3, Irene Aldana is a much better striker than Juliana Pena. I mean, way better striker. So when this comes down to a boxing striking match, I believe in my heart that when it comes down to just technical boxing with pure boxing combinations, Irene Aldana is a better boxer than Amanda Nunes. I believe that if you put them in a boxing ring with boxing rules and boxing gloves, Irene Aldana wins that fight 7 out of 10 times. I believe that she is the better boxer in this matchup. But this fight is going to come down to, as any Amanda Nunes fight is going to come down to, what does Amanda Nunes want to do? Because if she comes in with a wrestling game plan, off the rip, shooting takedowns, she will win this fight. Because Irene Aldana does have some holes in her game as far as getting taken down and on the ground. Now, she's not clueless, and she's not going to give up on the ground. You even saw that against Macy Chasson. Yeah, she lost some scrambles and she was losing some positions, but she's always going to work to try to get back to her feet. And she is like a purple belt in her own right or a brown belt, something like that. So she kind of knows what she's doing down there. But I do worry because my pick is going to be Aldana in this fight. But I do worry. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I'm not saying she's going to come in and knock her out. If Amanda wants to wrestle, she could definitely win this fight. But we've seen Amanda come in and try to be the hero, try to be the person that just knocks people out, likes to fight that style of fight. She was locked in that second fight versus Juliana Pena, but she was not in that first fight. We see what happens when people start touching her. And Irene Aldana can have success, but Irene Aldana needs to come forward and she needs to fight the ego early. If she gives Nunes a chance to kind of think through this fight and take her time, Nunes will do her thing, touch, shoot takedowns, get her to the ground and win this fight. Irene Aldana needs to get her in a fist fight early and get Amanda Nunes in a situation where she has forgot about the wrestling, she's throwing those wild overhand rights, and by the time she wants to wrestle, it's too late. The takedowns are not there because she's a little bit too gassed to get them, and then Irene Aldana can kind of piece her up there. And I don't want to kind of hone specifically on just the boxing of Irene Aldana because her kicks are pretty well too, especially the heavy front leg kicks, and I think she can really eat up the front leg of Amanda Nunes. So, long story short, my pick in this fight is Irene Aldana. Viva Mexico, because I believe that she can get to Amanda early. Amanda, if she tries to box with this girl, I think Irene can land the extended combinations, the power shots. Amanda is a hittable girl, and Irene can hit females as well. When she does, she hits them hard. She can have success on the feet, but obviously, I'm not stupid. I am worried that Amanda's going to come in, wrestle heavy, take her down, and control her. So if that happens, obviously Amanda's going to win. I'm just betting on the fact that Irene can get in her face, fight the ego, fight the pride, because there is a little bit of Cody Garbrandt in Amanda. There's a lot of Cody Garbrandt in a lot of fighters. When they get hit, a lot of fighters are like, fuck that, I want to hit you back. Amanda is no different. Obviously, she doesn't get knocked out like Cody, but I think she can fight the ego. I think Amanda might try and strike with this girl. And I think it could be bad news for it. I'm one of the only people, by the way. If you watch my initial breakdown of Juliana Pena and Nunes, the first fight, I said that if Pena comes in and just throws straight shots, jab, 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 touch her, put some doubt in her mind, bloody her up, she can win that fight. I said that Pena could win that fight. She won the fight. I think Irene Aldana can do the exact same thing, but it's going to come down to, does Amanda kind of allow that or not?
Okay, cool.
End sentence. Boop, boop. Mic drop. But Irene Aldana is my pick, baby.
All right, well, good luck to you. I'm on the opposite side. I don't have a bet on Amanda Nunes because while I said we're getting a discount on her because of 2 fights ago, I don't know. I don't know what, how motivated she will be and all of those things. But I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to watch. I'm going to enjoy. Amanda Nunes is the pick. $9,500 in DraftKings. I don't know. I mean, if you think she wins, she most likely is going to win by finish or a million takedowns. So she should score well if she wins. Whoever wins this fight is going to score really well. I do not see a close decision on either side. I think it
could be a weird situation where Amanda's getting takedowns, but like I said, Irene's going to make her work. Nothing's going to come easy on the ground. She's going to try to scramble out position. She's going to have to work on there, and she might get caught in a submission early. But if she's making Amanda work early, every round starts on the feet, and all of a sudden, if we get in the 3rd, 4th round, and Amanda has not put her away yet, and there's been a lot of wrestling involved, I think I might trust the gas tank and the striking of Irene late. But I've got a nice play in my mind for premium members for this fight. It kind of plays both sides of it. So if you want to see that, become a premium member, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's only, how much is it a month?
It's just $10 a month.
Holy shit, man, I got to sign up for that.
It includes so much. WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member. It's only $10 a month. And I'll send you $50. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. And I will send you $50 as a thing. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. I'll break off some of that money. And I will pay you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. And as Jacob mentioned, sign up, become a premium member. One of the things you're going to get is the safety parlay. The safety parlay is up 22.32 units over the last 23 events. So averaging 1 unit per event. That's every safety parlay we've ever done. And then this year alone, 9.83 units. That's net profit. That's, you got your money back for the bet, and then there's profit. WeWantPicks.com. Unlock the safety parlay this week. It is 3 legs. You're going to get all sorts of tools as well. You're going to get the line movement tracker. You're going to get the detailed data, the detailed metrics. You're going to get the analytics. You're going to get all sorts of stuff, including other analysts. It's not just me and Jakey Boy. We got Artem there. He's breaking down LFA. He's breaking down Cage Warriors. He's breaking down PFL. He's giving you picks, bets, and insight into all the organizations, not just the UFC. Anything you could ever want or need is available to you at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. $10 super chat from Chris V. Heat Fia.
Fire. Heat fire. Jesus, Angelo.
Heat Fire. Tango El Gato Los Pantalones.
El Gato Los Pantalones. Do you know what that's from anyway, by the way?
I do. It's from Blue Streak. Thank you very much, Chris. Genuinely appreciate it. Jacob, any last words before I shut this down?
We have another donation.
Oh, here it is. $4.99 super chat from Degenerate UFC fan Angelo calling the cops on the Mexican party down the street Saturday night. Guarantee. It's my party. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you don't like conflicting parties. You start breaking out those mariachi bands, and we know how you get.
Thank you to Degenerate UFC fan for the $4.99 super chat. See ya.
No, whoa!
What?
Lock of the week video tomorrow. Getting excited about it.
Fuck up, Jesus Christ. Okay, see.